Man, do I love that music. What's going on, everybody? Welcome, Arvanauts. Welcome to a Saturday stream. Welcome to June 21st. Welcome to the first full official day of summer. The summer solstice is here, the longest day of the year. I hope you folks are enjoying it. It's almost over. Oh, no. I hope everyone had a pleasant Saturday today, and I hope you folks are looking forward to a pleasant night tonight with day 37 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, an episode we are calling The Doomed Ship. Very excited for that. We are sponsored, as always, by Alligator Alley Entertainment. Thank you to them, and I'm really looking forward to tonight. But before we get there, just a couple of reminders about ways to support us on the channel. If you haven't done so already, please follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube. Please do subscribe to us over there. We are at a new record of subscribers. Every new subscriber increases that record, where it's sitting at about 1,105 subscribers, I believe. So please do that. If you're watching over on YouTube, thank you. It's free for you to do that, but it really helps us out, and you can get that content even a little bit earlier. So please do that. That would be lovely. Also on the Discord, !ArvCord. You can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. Twitter is !ArvTweets. Blue Sky, which I'm definitely pushing the most, is !ArvSky. I am now but a scant 85 followers away from the 1,000 follower level on Blue Sky, at which point I will shut down Twitter and not use it again, and I will just be using Blue Sky for that microblogging type of stuff. So I'm very excited for that once we get there. So please do follow me over on Blue Sky. Again, you can follow and see all the stuff that's going on in the world of Arv. That's !ArvSky. Of course, the TikTok for us is !ArvTalk. And please do check out my Gen GM show, which I do with Zach Clay on DM and GM tips. We have a new long-form video of that, which we recorded a few days ago, which is coming out very soon. We'll have some short videos coming out from Gen GMs as well. And that, again, is !Gen GMs. And if you have not already done so, please check out our website for this, arvanelleron.com. Financially, !Arv Shop is the merchandise area. We can get stuff relating to the various campaigns on this channel. !Arv Treon is the Patreon, sitting at $79 a month, really trying to get that into triple digits. So please do consider supporting us on the Patreon. That would be very much appreciated. And consider subscribing to our channel, which gives us those custom sub badges and emotes that you can use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch. We just rolled out 7 new emotes, 5 of them available to you at Tier 1. And if you support at the Tier 2 level, you can get inspirations to help our tabletop players. You can also get inspirations if you support the Patreon at $10 or more. So please do consider doing those things. On the publishing front, since you mentioned Icarus, I saw there in there Tilt did that. Icarus is my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Library is my Tales and Tomes, The Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And Greyshade. That is my Grey Assassin trilogy, Greyshade, Renegade, Heretic, available at that link. Those are 3 books, award-winning Grey Assassin trilogy from Athos Arts. You can also pre-order the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade, coming to you from our very own Brandon O'Brien. And again, Alligator Alley is publishing that. That will be available as of Gen Con this year, so it'll be released at Gen Con. We're very excited for that. And of course, and also I should mention the audiobooks. You can get the audiobook of Greyshade right now at that link, Greyshade. But you can also pre-order the other 2 links by backing the Kickstarter, as Triffid has just noticed. That's Far Away. Far Away Dreaming is closing in on $40,000 now. It's been a hugely successful Kickstarter for Ula Thynel's Far Away Dreaming art book. That's only got about 3 days to go, a little less than that, because I think it started in the evening. So 2.5, 3 days to go. So now is the time to get on board for this Kickstarter. And if you go over there, even if you back at the $1 level, you can get my audiobooks for those things, Greyshade, Renegade, and Heretic, all 3 of which will be done by Trent Sparks. Greyshade is done by Trent Sparks, and he's going to be narrating Heretic, Renegade, and Heretic, which will be out in the fall of this year officially. But if you get them now, you can get them at cheaper than retail as an add-on to this Kickstarter. And of course, if you back the entire Kickstarter, as I have done, you also get an awesome book of art as well. So I hope you will consider doing those things with Greyshade. And as always, BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And exclamation point Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage, and send the message we will do so for others in that situation in the future. Scheduled tonight, we are going to be doing day 37 of Expedition for the Mysterious Peaks. Then we will be off Sunday, Monday. We will be back on Tuesday with the Patreon Field Chat Chosen Game of the Month, which is Blueprints. Very excited to try that game out. And then more over on GOG.com's Twitch channel with Pen and Pixels and Expeditions Rome. Then we've got some community D&D, Waterdeep Dragon Heist with the Shadow Crew coming your way Wednesday night. And then Thursday, we have some Oblivion Remastered coming your way. Next weekend, I'm probably going to be off the whole weekend because I'm going to be at a jazz festival with the family. But we have got some good streams coming up before then. And then, of course, the month of July, which is going to be very busy, very exciting, super pumped up for all of that as well. So with all of that said, I'm going to get rid of that. I am going to unmute myself, let the folks know that we are ready to go, and apologize if I interrupted any of them because I couldn't hear them. And then I will unmute them, and last but certainly not least, head over to reveal. The crew is here. It is not entirely the full crew because Rhiannon was not able to join us today, but she will be back, of course, in our next session. Normally, Rhiannon Held plays Sataria Verban. Rhiannon, good person, good author. You should get all of her stuff, both space opera and fantasy, but she will not be joining us this evening. However, we are joined by three other awesome people who are the rest of the crew of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, and I will start with a person right over from the player not available, as you see, a player who's very much available, and that is Toya Kristen Finley. Good to see you, Toya. I hope all is well. How's everything going with you? I know you've been absolutely adoring the weather. I heard that before, that everything's been great.
He's being sarcastic.
In Nashville, and, I know you just love it. No, how are you? How's everything with you, and who are you playing today?
Oh, yeah, I actually got a question for chat because we were having an interesting conversation about how brains were different and all of that. Chat, any of you only dream in black and white, and any of you only dream in color? Because that's the thing. And I learned that in 6th grade, and it blew my mind because I only dreamed in color, and there were kids in the class who only dreamed in black and white.
Black and white.
And they were amazed that people actually dreamed in color.
Were they also like alternative Scandinavian film directors? Like maybe that was just
At 11, they were.
Hey, listen. I think Scandinavian film directors get started early.
Well, I mean, I'm good. I'm not enjoying the weather, as you pointed out. Today I shall be playing Nalik, also known as Nals Darkly, who is a human bard, and I'm very interested in what's going on in this level now that there aren't things at the moment trying to kill us.
That is true, and there's a lot that we'll talk about during that recap. Always a pleasure to have Toya with us. Also a pleasure, of course, and by the way, you will see Toya, and you'll also see me here, but you will see Toya at Gen Con if you want to go visit in person. And I mention that because Toya is also going to be joining us on the Friday night of Gen Con for the premiere live event of Greyshade, which is my TTRPG designed by the amazing Brandon O'Brien. I will not be GMing it. I will be playing in it alongside Toya. Brandon will be GMing it in an adventure called Death of a Noble. I cannot tell you how much Brandon O'Brien kicked ass on the design of this game. I'm super excited for it. I don't know if anybody saw the announcement that Evil Hat has had to cancel the Tomb Raider TTRPG because of creative differences with Crystal Dynamics. I mentioned that because Brandon O'Brien worked on the Tomb Raider TTRPG. They are going to reconfigure it, apparently, file the serial numbers off, and they're going to do something different with it down the line, which is great. Why am I bringing this up? Because it's unfortunate that happened, but their loss is our gain because I know he's a kick-ass designer, and you will see that too when you see that on that Friday. So anyway, I'm excited to be playing with Toya on that day. But you will not see LaShawn Wannick there. You will see LaShawn M. Wannick, however, at Worldcon, where I will also be in Seattle, so that'll be a good time. LaShawn, good to see you. How are you? You apparently are not having these issues with the heat, feeling the same way about the heat, I guess. I gather. I didn't get all the details, but how are you feeling right now, and who are you playing tonight?
I am feeling great. I actually like summer, and I actually like the heat, even though right now I'm not in the heat per se. I'm in our basement, which is very nice and cool, and it's actually perfect. So it's like when it gets hot like this, it's like I actually it's like a sauna. I spend some time upstairs, I get nice and hot, and then I come downstairs and I hang out in the basement, and it feels great. So yeah, I am loving it. And I dream in color. So just for people, in case if people wondering. So
yeah, Triffett says, by the way, that I dream in color, have had some dreams at night that might have been black and white or just washed out of color by the darkness, but otherwise dreams in color. So that's 2 votes. I also dream in color. So that's 3 votes for color so far.
I also dream in color.
Okay, 4 votes.
Yeah.
All right.
So I am playing Raven Dalinar, who is a Lorendi who is in a different world, but that she's used to, and she is basically dealing with stuff, and I don't know if she trusts her companions enough to tell, but it looks like it's getting closer to that kind of level. So we'll see.
We will see. Yeah, we had a few we had a few sort of discussions of that, like, backstory small reveals last time that everyone was like, oh, that's what's going, so Raven is this we're unwrapping the onion basically as time goes on, which is important, chat, because when you do that, it means you also cry in the poignancy of tabletop roleplay. If you see what I did there. Anyway, always a pleasure to have LaShawn with us. I'm excited to see what Raven gets up to tonight. Also excited to see our good friend Zach Clay with us. Zach, who wherever he goes, now he's not he's not in his usual digs right now, but wherever he goes, there's always just like, it looks comfy and like, you know what I mean? Like, it's something about, you're in the Bay Area generally, and you live in California, you're just like, I have some plants behind me, and I'm here. So like, that's where Zach's at. It fits his personality. How are you, my friend? How's everything going with you, and who are you playing tonight?
Yeah, this is my, if your brother's wife, is that still your sister-in-law? Yeah, right. But also your wife's sister is also your sister-in-law. That's how that works.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I just know about the.
Did you say if your wife's sister is also your sister-in-law? Wouldn't you be married to the same person at that point?
No, if you're, I don't know. I was trying to bring up an example. That all to say, I'm in my brother's wife's, aka my sister-in-law's room.
Let's say you're okay with polygamy. Right, discuss. No.
Yes. No. You may occasionally hear, I don't know if you could hear it just then, the raucous laughter of said brother and our friends who are currently playing a riveting game of Magic the Gathering.
I'm sorry to pull you away from that. Yeah.
Oh, no. It's a pleasure to be here and playing D&D Esper Genesis, because honestly, if I was there, I would be killing all of them. It wouldn't be a very fun time. They wouldn't be laughing as much. So they need a break from me before I get over there, and I absolutely dominate.
Dang.
And I need to see how this story goes too, and explore this ship, and explore the beautiful, wonderful character that I'm playing, who may or may not have a sister-in-law of his own, Dr. Duraxis, a Dendis Cybermancer.
Very excited for that. I was waiting for you to be like, and that sister-in-law is Raven. Like, wait, what? Like, what the hell? Like, we construct backstory, GM. Go to hell. Anyway, well, thank you, Zach, for being here. Chat, thank you all for being here. And let's talk a little bit about what happened in our last session. Let's fire up a little bit of music here. Don't need combat music at the moment, although we did at the end of things the last time. I'm just going to put in, let's see, Derelict Freighter sounds about right, although this is not it's bigger than a freighter and it's not completely derelict. But in our last session, this is playing. There we go. Good. In our last session, the crew of Expedition for the Mysterious Peaks has come to the fallen ship known as the Centurion, and they've come basically for 2 reasons. Number 1, they need information about the creatures known as the Caridin. These are the creatures that manage to corrupt the Primarch of Celis, and may, at least from the assumption of Knowles has a suspicion perhaps, that may have also corrupted the Primarch of Camria up top. where the Primarch has apparently been taken over by these strange cultists. It seems likely that these things may be linked in some way. But they need to gather information about these Caridin. And the time that the Caridin began to surface in any kind of capacity was with the crashing of this ship many, 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 many years ago, actually centuries ago, into the side of the Barrier Peaks Mountains, where it now sits sort of half embedded within those mountains. Beyond that, though, the crew has also come, at least the space portion of the crew, have come for another reason, and that is that Jaraxxus was led here by a beacon, by a continuing, repeating signal from a place that should have had no such technology and no such signal. And as he has arrived here, and as Raven has somehow also been drawn here through some strange combination of unclear what, but the Caridin may be involved with that too, figuring out what exactly this place is all about is top of mind for the entire crew. And so they have entered the Centurion, but it is a dangerous place. It is the place where this massive cataclysmic event came from some time ago, which led to fundamental changes across the planet of Thalos, and now they are here inside the Centurion trying to make their way around. They began their search, and let me pull up the map here. They began their search down to the southern side of this map right over here at this turbo lift. And as they came through, they noticed a few things of note. First of all, that the ship's interior had signs of age and wear, although it has been somewhat sealed from the outer elements. Secondly, that there are glowing panels along the upper wall and ceiling providing dim light throughout the ship. Thirdly, that the air upon the ship is thick and stale, and it's also very warm and humid, so pretty much Nashville. So there's that. And then fourth, and perhaps most important practically, that there are doors here which are locked with various key cards of different colors. And the party realized that if they're going to get into these spaces, and if they were going to activate the elevator to other levels of the ship, the turbo lift over here, they were going to need to do that by exploring and finding the key cards that were necessary. They entered this area of the place and found themselves in a series of rooms that looked like they might have at one point been either some kind of like crew quarters or perhaps command quarters. And it was in those command quarters where they discovered a series of logs from the former captain of the Centurion, a person who described herself as Commander Belen Gray. Commander Gray described the fact that as things were going along, there was erratic behavior, which had begun. First of all, the ship crash landed, which sounds familiar, certainly a little bit to Raven and a lot to Dr. Jaraxxus, so there was that. Secondly, so just like that, the ship separated from its command module. The central computer was obviously corrupted by some kind of virus, some complex virus that had sort of taken it over, and afterwards the drones and automatons began to malfunction and attack the crew. More about those malfunctioning drones in a minute. Thirdly, there were these containment protocols in the bioresearch facility which failed, leading to multiple organic biohazards that were released. Some technicians began to exhibit erratic behavior. Multiple attempts to contact the command crew in orbit failed, and that the engineering crew discovered a, quote, anomaly that had begun to spread throughout the lower decks of the ship. Origin unknown, but seemed to have emerged from a hull breach on the port side. And the last note, that last sort of log entry, was that the captain was heading to engineering to manually override the system and lock down the lower decks. And thanks to analysis from, I believe, Raven and Jaraxxus, if I'm not mistaken, they've discovered that per the Thalesian calendar, the log was 425 years old. And so probably too late to help the captain, you would guess at this point. 425 years old, but also that this terminal had been manually disconnected from the ship's primary computer network. And so it was just at that point that they went into another room, searched a couple of other things, and then heard this redo, 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 which was everyone's favorite klaxon from last time. And when they went out, they found themselves attacked by a series of security drones and what is sort of a mini mech, I guess you might say. Yeah, exactly, Proxima. 425 is the new 300, yeah. And they managed to defeat it, but it was not that easy. They were able to stay mostly unscathed thanks to some good hits, and thanks to some successful healing on the part of Sataria, and some careful work from their murder puppy, as Nulls referred to him in Gamork. However, having put all that together, the party now, having just destroyed this drone and the redo having stopped for the moment, the party is now inside this humid, dimly lit, and now somewhat smokily, smoke in the air after having destroyed these drones and this mech ship. And they still, of course, are trying to look to discover some things in the rooms around them, like key cards and other evidence about the ship and what happened to its inhabitants. And so with that, I'm going to hand things back over to the party. The klaxon has just stopped sounding, and the drones and robots and all that have now been destroyed. And you are sitting in this room. Draxus, I think you made your way... I think this here is the captain's quarters, if I'm not mistaken. And Jaraxis, you were up here, and I don't remember. I think that was probably another set of quarters, but not the main one. This down here, I think, was where you found the information. Oh, no, I take that back. This, I think, is where you had the captain's information, and this was like a separate storage area, and that's when you got attacked by the drones. So
Yeah, I remember the opposite, actually. I think when we entered this room, the
was that when the klaxon went
the
off?
westmost, I think so, because there was also a decapitated bot in
Oh,
there.
yeah. That's right. Yes, I take that back.
Yeah. So
And I also have a green key card.
Yes,
You
that's
do.
Thank
important.
you for saying that was driving me nuts. I'm like, isn't there something green here
Yes,
too?
you did
Yeah.
find a green key card. That's correct. And you have found a couple. You found a few red locks and blue locks. You don't think you found any green locks as of yet, but,
Also, I'm only half joking when I ask this. If there's a redo, I'm wondering if there's an undo.
undo. Yes, indeed.
Well, shall we continue exploring and hope that we have that we'll thank Illness for subscribing for 96 months?
Ah,
And that's
Thank you, Hillness. We
Wow.
really appreciate your support.
is that is 8 years of support. Officially
Wow.
8 years. Thank you, Hilness, for that. That is awesome sauce. Thank you. I appreciate that, Hilness. 8 full years. Always a
Wow.
pleasure. Good to see you, man. I hope all is well. And thank you so much for that support. I should mention, too, by the way, chat, don't forget that anyone who cheers tonight, those cheers will be divided among the players. And remember, we have 2 new emotes that have just gone live. If you want to get the coveted Arvani Sick emote and Arvani Smart emote, if you want to get those, you have to contribute to get up to 75k bits and 100k bits. So no better time than now to get access to more of those emotes and help out the players at the same time. So please consider cheering in chat as well. And yes, I put on there was some music, but it wasn't loud enough before Triffid, so I turned it up. Yes, go ahead, Draxus. I think you were talking last.
yeah. Shall we continue exploring and hope that we have tripped all alarms that are made to be tripped?
So, Nulls is going to gesture towards those 2 mechs that we defeated
Mm-hmm.
and say, are you familiar with this technology? Is there any parts we could possibly strip from it? Or do you see any tech that resembles what they did to Gamork?
that's a good question. I'll go up and inspect the redo. I'll inspect the automatons that have come to attack us, searching for that information, I guess, like trying to know more about their origins
Okay.
and if there's anything
Let me ask you if you were looking for, because I'm thinking, are you looking for more about their sort of mechanical makeup, or would you say you're looking more about sort of the kind of technological way they might have been controlled? It's basically the difference between a mechanics and a computer's check, and it would be telling you something different about each.
Yeah.
Also,
there
you know,
way-
Raven or Nulls, you could try to make these checks, but it would be very weird for you. You know, Raven, I
I
think
mean,
might
I'll
have.
try a check.
You could if you want, but it wouldn't. It would definitely be sort of more of a. It would be sort of like a survival check, and it's going to be pretty difficult, probably a disadvantage. Raven, you could
Okay.
make a check like this too. Again, if you even want to, and if so, if you know what you're looking to find. I guess.
Well, I have a question.
Sure.
What if I'm not so much trying to poke around in the thing, but I'm just trying to observe what I see and explain what I see?
I will
Like,
take that
maybe-
as an investigation check.
Okay. So I'll investigate.
In the meantime, Jaraxis, what are you thinking?
I think I'm gonna do computers then.
Okay.
Because mechanics is closer to just observation.
Right.
So I'm gonna hope that Nalik observes. I'm gonna actually dig in and see if I can I mean, I don't know exactly how the computer's check will function, but maybe even access the memory of the bot or I forget
That-
how you characterized it, but the
Yeah.
computer side of things.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good. Raven, you don't have to do any of this if you don't want to, but if you do, you have a thought about what you'd want to look into these things for?
I think Raven is she's less interested in the drones themselves. So she's just gonna let Dr. Draxus do his thing.
Okay, sounds good. All right, let me get those checks. So I see the 15. I'll talk about that in a minute. And a 21. Okay. Let's see. So one note is now, Nulls, this is playing off of this is very much a guess for you, right? Like, I mean, you really don't know for sure. However, it seems to you like this technology, other than being mechanical as the technology is on Gamork, does not look to be the same kind. It just doesn't. It doesn't look the same. You know, and you're not sure why that is. It may have something to do with the fact that it's just different materials, maybe, but it's hard to know. But it doesn't look the same, and it doesn't even really feel the same, if that makes sense. You don't think it's the same kind. Jaraxis, you're looking to the computers is. So you find a couple of sort of burned out, you know, circuit boards and chips and things like that. And the thing that strikes you is the things that you find, like you're looking for particular things like, you know, eSIMs and stuff like that that would be part of sort of modern Silrain Arc technology. You don't find any of that in here. It's almost as if, to use a modern analogy for us for a moment to step out of game, it would be like looking into a you know, a robot and finding that it had like a Commodore 64 tape drive for a computer instead of a modern, you know, up-to-date PC with microprocessors. It's old
see.
technology. It's clearly functional, but it does not look like it's been modified, and it certainly is not compatible with anything you've seen before. It's like, you know, assembly language level stuff.
Oh, this is basic. This goes back. Well, the fact that these logs are 400 plus years old makes sense. This is
He holds up a big, like, chunky spear. And he says,
I have something a quarter of this size that powers my equipment for 4 times the power.
and he drops it on the ground.
So you said there were logs.
Are there logs? Oh, no. Jaraxis says, no,
The captain's logs we just listened to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The tech seems different than what's on Gamork.
Mhm.
My running theory then is, you know, this. It's said that this ship crashed 400 some years ago, and then you all on this planet took this tech and made it your own. So I find it likely that if we do find any link to the Keratin or something here, that it will be the progenitor of it, the very start. But it's likely something on your planet that made it what it is today.
I'm pretty sure this is the genesis of our Magitech.
So if we can find out something about the most fundamental form of it, then that might help us with what we have to deal with now.
Ooh, could we make our own devices and have a little bit of
Oh.
fun?
I do that all the time. I'd be happy to teach a little bit. Let's continue and keep an eye out, I suppose, for green locks around. Right, Raven?
Yeah, and Raven looks a little itchy, not itchy, but twitchy. It's like she's more, yeah, let's just get going. I don't want to stay here too long. We have a key card. Let's go use it. Let's go.
We also should look for anything red or blue.
Do that.
Alright.
Raven, make a perception check for me, please.
Oh, oops. Okay. Uh, Network? Yes.
Okay. Okay. Perfectly safe. Everything is just fine. No. Yeah. Just the thing I guess I would note is that there is just you're surprised, Raven. I suppose. Well, maybe surprised isn't the right word. There's a lot of debris basically around. Not just the debris from these robots, but it occurs to you that there is a lot of sort of just kind of metal bits and bobs and stuff like that in a lot of these rooms. And I think we mentioned the fact that this may have been a place where stuff was thrown before, like they just sort of threw extra stuff out of the hallways. But if there ever were any like cleaning drones or things like that, does not seem likely that they've been in use here for a while based on the state of things. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we'll find any key cards here in this area. This feels more like a junk room than anything, but not what we're looking for. I hate to be morbid, but if we do find any more keys, it might possible we may need to find more skeletons.
Right. That's okay. Let's keep going. Why don't one of you lead the way? I can be in the back for once.
Well, I don't know any of this technology, so
And Raven
Raven?
starts walking away. She's like, let's just go.
All right.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Raven's done. Raven is done. Raven is done.
All right, we'll follow Raven.
Zach, I'm giving you control of Satari just for the moment.
Okay.
Okay, and Gamork will follow behind. All right.
Oh, wait a minute. That's a good point. Did Sataria want to do anything before we wander off?
I don't think so. She's a little bit low on magic. And probably wouldn't have any. Oh, very low on magic, actually. So, if anything, as she might advise, not entering another fight quite like that one. But otherwise, we'll probably just observe, use skills. So, yeah, Duraxis will follow wherever Raven leads, probably down the hall, I guess.
Yeah. Which way are you headed, Raven?
Okay. So I'm guessing we've gone. We seen here, right?
You have seen there, yes.
Okay. So we're backing out here, and kind of going back the way we came.
Well, yeah, we have not seen any of the stuff
over here though, like this dark area,
That's true.
Oh,
or over
oh,
here.
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I will still follow you, but just
Oh, no.
letting you know.
No, is there anything in these other rooms?
Well, when you open them up, let me do that one. Okay, you open them up. So the first thing that you notice in here, so we've already talked about the commander's suite that you went to with had the logs in it. So you see again a combination here of what look like damaged robot parts, Raven, and then a few more troubling looking humanoid bones sort of in the remains here. But that's very similar to what you've discovered already in this. It's similar to what you found in the non-captain's areas, basically, so far.
Okay. Well, we got bones. And they're just bones. She says this out loud. It's like they're just bones. They're not anything. They're bones that have been dead for centuries. Let's search them. We might find another key card.
Okay, investigation check for me, please.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Okay,
I'll also do the same.
okay. I'll
I
take
guess
investi-
Zataria should also do the same.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'll take
I'll
investigation checks
have
there.
Yeah.
Sataria's investigation's not that good anyway, but I think she has guidance. Yeah, so I'll have her guide me.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
+4.
Yeah, Nulls, you know, more. You've seen this. There does not seem to be a lot more, extra for that. I would say Raven also the same. This seems pretty similar to what you found before. A couple of bits of metal, few gears here and there, and that sort of thing, but nothing obvious. Maybe a couple of fragments of uniform and stuff like that. What it might have been a uniform, but nothing discernible. Mostly disintegrated. Hey, Shadow. And Jaraxxus. Yeah,
Kind of the same.
pretty much the same, you would say, yes. I mean, this does not look like it's had as many things thrown into it as was the case in the other rooms, but still more or less similar. This whole area seems to have been used as kind of a de facto garbage dumping site.
Got it. Okay.
Is there anything across the hall?
You could certainly check if you like.
Yeah.
So if you
Yes.
look across the hall, there's two things. First of all, there is another Skywalker. No, there is another room. Again, pretty much exactly the same as what you've seen. There is, however, also a door on the eastern end here, just to note, when you get there. But inside here, same pretty much as what you left here. Again, they look mostly like crew quarters, but combination of parts and bones and things like that.
Can we investigate? There's no sign of uniforms or clothes or anything like that.
Not most of them, yeah. Maybe little fragments, but pretty much no. Must have disintegrated a long time ago, you would assume. And and I should note, no full skeletons around here either.
Well, that's even stranger. Why aren't there full bodies?
Hmm.
All right. And this little green spot at the end of the hall right here in the middle, is that like a console or is that not really anything in particular?
When you let me just confirm my map here for a minute. Yeah. No. It looks like it's some kind of a very lightly glowing sort of light panel. There is below it a completely dead, and in fact the screen has been shattered, terminal. So but the terminal is completely dead and looks like non-functional.
Okay.
Can we examine the door?
Sure, the one to this one over here?
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. Do you want to open it or are you trying to listen at it?
I'm just observing it for now.
Okay. Only in the hallway, just so you know. So it would be up here. Raven is that way. Yeah, it just looks like the same kind of door that has allowed access into these other rooms, kind of a smaller metal door. And so far, all of them have been unlocked, the doors that you've found in this area.
Let's give it a shot.
Gonna try to go in?
I think so.
Okay.
What are you saying, Raven?
Yeah, I say, well, give it a try. See what it opens up to.
So, when you push this open, you are greeted by something a little different than what you found so far.
Yeah.
This looks like at one point, this might have been like a conference room, but there are signs of a large battle that took place in this square room. There were bits of furniture kind of strewn about the area, and there are, unlike in the other rooms, scorch marks along the walls and ceiling. Notably, not a lot of like parts or bones or anything in this room, but there's a lot of debris of like furniture and, stuff like that. And it does look like the place was shot up pretty badly. Yeah, board meeting gone wrong. Exactly, but
Oh,
or a board game meeting.
so what happened here? Actually, Raven doesn't say anything. She's just coming in and looking around with a very stern, concerned look on her face.
Jaraxxus is gonna, using his recording unit and a little like display thing on his wrist, we'll
Yep.
say, he's gonna replay the captain's log. I wrote notes of it, and let's see, it's gonna kind of like filter through and say, drones and automatons go rogue and kill 3 lieutenants. Containment protocols in bio-research facility have failed. Technicians exhibiting erratic behavior. So as it's cycling through, Jaraxxus will say,
So it sounds like everyone on this ship went a little crazy. Like the humanoids and the robots both.
and Jaraxxus is going to walk around and see this room looks pretty torn up and not like there's much recoverable in it. So I guess his only goal is to see what kind of fight this was. Was this humans killing humans, robots killing robots, or a mix of that?
Okay.
He's gonna look for evidence, I guess.
Can you tell what made these scorch marks?
Right. And I guess like having just experienced the attack of the drones and automatons that just shot at us, using maybe that as an example of like, oh, this seems like the same scorch on the wall that was just left from the guys the drones that attacked us, or I mean, I don't even know if it matters, but maybe it does.
I will have you make for this.
Investigation.
Yeah, I think an investigation check.
Can I guide Jaraxxus first?
Sure.
I can also do.
Yeah, and Sataria will guide you, Raven, then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. I got a 16.
Okay. I'll come back to that once we hear what Raven does.
And I'll roll the d4 once. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Nice. So
All right,
that's
so 20 for
Right.
for Raven and a 16 for Jaraxxus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're looking for the same thing, more or less, Raven, right? As Jaraxxus was, to like determine the nature of the battle. Okay, couple of notes. First of all, this was a pretty big battle, judging from the amount of scorch marks and the destruction at the level of the furniture here. It looks like a lot of this was based on a laser battle, but not all. There's a lot of stuff where where you can see tables and chairs that were like ripped from their spots where they were, on the ground, or sort of shattered pieces of plasterwood or things like that that are just sort of lying on the ground, as if there were a lot of physical bodies being thrown around and then a lot of lasers being shot. As far as whether this was robots versus robots or robots versus something humanoid, that's very difficult to tell. You do not see any bones in here the way that you did elsewhere, nor do you see a lot of robot parts, but they're almost conspicuous by their absence. If you had to guess, you would say that maybe these things were cleaned up.
Right.
Because the rest of the room sure wasn't cleaned up. I mean, the rest of the room looks pretty, like, devastated. But it was a pretty significant battle, and whatever was left in this room is largely just devastated and destroyed.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, no luck, but I guess we can check the other side of the ship.
Is there anything that's down this way?
There is no exit out of that way. There was a section, like, there is presumably a section beyond there, but it looks like it's not accessed from there. You went north originally from this central area down here. So there were areas to the east and west that you could also have gone out of, and theoretically you might be able to find access by going east here, just judging by, you know, where you are now and what you're imagining in terms of the space.
Raven looks
Okay.
at Dr. Jaraxis. What do you think?
I think this all tracks so far. I'm curious about where those bots that attacked us came from. There must still be parts of this ship that weren't cleared. Or something. But lead the way, fearless explorer, please.
And at that, Raven almost kind of smirks. She kind of like it's almost a hint of a smile, but it's not quite there. But then she walks out.
The moment she walks out, Draxus turns to Nalik and is like, "Did you see that? I got a smirk."
You got a smirk.
That's if we were counting points, I'd be up.
Let's let her keep leading and see where this goes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Gamork sort of growls at all of you, and then walks out, sort of generally following the rest. Okay, Raven, where are you headed then?
I'm gonna head back out into the main hallway.
Okay.
We're done with this section?
I think so. Looks like it to me.
There was nothing. I don't know how to make the little pointer. There was nothing over here.
If you just hold down, if you left click.
There we go. There's
Like
nothing
that.
here. There's nothing there.
Right, that's just debris, from
Okay.
what you can tell, yeah.
And there's no door here. That's not a door.
That is not a door.
Okay.
Okay, then Raven's gonna head back out into this hallway and then go back to where the turbo lift is.
Okay. Move Gamork as well. Okay, and then is going to head to where the turbo lift is. Okay, yep.
Um,
Oh yeah, can we remind ourselves what kind of access the turbolift requires?
Right. The deal with the turbo lift is let me get to the spot here. When you come near the turbo lift, you can see that there are these sort of there's a grate below, and then there's sort of a grated door. But the light currently is red, and the door appears to be locked. It seems inactive and or dormant at the moment.
So like a power on to the ship's systems, or maybe some sort of external, like a security room or something.
Possibly.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I don't think the green tea card will work on the turbo lift. regardless.
Yeah, I don't think we found anything that a green key card opens yet, but we do have two back in the center, like the roundabout in the center of the ship. We have a west and an east hall we haven't tried yet.
Okay. Well, let's head back down that way. So that's what Raven does.
Okay.
Let's back to back.
All right. Okay, so the east. The question is whether you're heading east or west from here, because you came from the south. So I guess the question is whether you'd be going east from this area or west from this area.
Let's stick with east.
Okay. All right, go ahead and move over in that direction then.
As we pass by this door,
Uh-huh.
does it also have a color lock, and that's just obscured?
It's
right
definitely locked by something, but there's no key card here. It may be possible that it's only passable through from the inside, but it does not seem
I
to
see.
have an accessible panel from the outside.
So, Nulls sees that red lock
Mm-hmm.
and says, "Wasn't there a red lock on the outside of the ship as well?"
Oh, you mean all the way back near the entrance? Yes, over here.
Mm-hmm.
And in
We-
fact, there may have been another place that may have been accessible, but I'm not entirely sure.
Mm-hmm.
This hallway works though. I just know once we find the red key card, we are set. We can go anywhere.
Well, except for the blue locks.
All right. Yeah, we try to go down the hallway. So
Okay,
show us the way. Oh, great GM.
there we go. So yeah, couple of notes here. The first is there are doors, you haven't tested them yet, that are to the north and south as you go down here. But also you can see there's a glow at the end of the hallway, and as you get close, you can see that it is another turbo lift. But just like the other one, it has this sort of grate at the bottom of it, and the front portion of it seems to be sealed off. And again, there's sort of a dim red light glow about it. It also appears to be locked. Just like the one up to the north.
Is that all that's in this room?
Apparently, it looks like it.
All
Well,
right.
Can we try one of the doors?
Mm-hmm.
All right, which one are you
Draxus
going to
is
give a shot to?
standing. Yeah, he's sort of standing between both of them. He has both of his hands out, waiting for Raven to point which one, and Draxus will reach over to open it, whichever one she chooses.
Oh. Top one.
Okay, I go to the top one.
The north one.
Okay. When you open this, whoops, I have to reveal it. That'll be nice. Let's get the right button there. When you open this door, you are greeted by what looks like what essentially seems to be it has some of the same kind of, I guess, green carpeting and so on that you saw. There is some fungal growth that you can see in certain areas here as you're looking around. But otherwise, there seem to be little, almost like bays. You can't quite see them fully, but they're over here. And there's a few of them, and you need to actually come up into it, like close to them to see what they are. But they seem like small little, almost like cubicles or something like that. And then there is one larger door here, but there's clearly a room almost in the center of this room that seems to have a door blocking access, although it may be unlocked. You'd have to see. You also note that there is, over this way, You can see a door over here which is glowing with a green panel of some kind. And again, areas up to the north here and here that you cannot see.
Jaraxxus sort of points out the green keycard area, but he's curious about whatever this is.
As is
So-
Nulls, and Nulls would like to wait to get to the green lock. Wants to look over here first and see what's going on.
Okay. What you see in here, right here, looks like a broken down, some kind of a broken down, narrow bed is what it looks like. And Jaraxxus, as you're looking at it, it looks to you like almost, it's sort of too narrow for what you would expect a normal kind of, bed or cot to look like. But above it are a series of wires and things like that hanging down from the ceiling and from certain metal extensions from the wall, as if there was something that used to be in the wall that like sort of extended over these beds and that they have now been ripped out. You haven't looked in these yet, but in both of these you see the same thing. Those two, one bed in each of the rooms, or what looks like a bed, and then these wires hanging down from a metal protrusion that comes from the back wall and extends over the bed. And you can see also a couple of almost like cabinets basically to the southern side of the room. Their doors are smashed and open and there's nothing in them, but they look like they would have once held stuff.
Okay.
At that, Raven's going to back away, and she's looking sick. And it's like, I'm going to go over to the key card thing. I'll let you guys handle that. And she's going to go up there, walking very, very fast away.
Okay. Jaraxxus, when you get here, I would like you please to make a perception check for me. As you're looking into this room, particularly.
How about a 3?
It's definitely a room. You've seen rooms before, and this is definitely a
I
room.
turn back to Nulls and say, it's just a bunch of rooms. I keep walking.
Okay. Nulls, you said you were doing the same thing?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like you to make a perception check when you get to about here as well. And
I'll have-
Sataria,
Yeah.
Sataria actually can also make a perception check at advantage for reasons I'll describe.
Okay.
Yeah, Nulls, there's something weird about that room, and you can't figure out why. It's got the same kind of bed, the same wires,
Ooh.
protrusion thing that I've talked about.
She's got a +5, and I'll have her cast guidance.
Okay.
That's already a 24.
Okay.
24.
Yeah, when Sataria gets up to here, Sataria can see what maybe she would have suspected the whole time. There are definitely skeletal remains that are almost kind of melted into the top of the bed surface, but and I don't mean the bones are melted. I mean like the bottom, the bed is degraded enough that it's sort of sunk into the surface, but there are definitely skeletal remains on top of this bed and also this bed up here.
I think she says something about that, and then and then Jaraxxus is also looking this way, and then I imagine Raven has gotten closer to opening the door now.
I will talk about that in just a second. So these all look like the same size rooms that you went past before. In fact, there's a lot of these rooms that look similar. Raven, when you get over to that area, because you said you were looking over here, right, towards the key card area?
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, you can see that there is a panel here, and you can see next to it that it is glowing green. and it has something which looks like it might sort of, be the rough size of the key card that you're holding, theoretically.
Okay. Yeah, Raven's trying very hard not to have a breakdown right now. Because she caught a glimpse of what was in the bays, and it is really triggering her.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's actually sitting against the wall right now, trying to catch her breath.
Ah, okay. All right, let me talk to the others for a bit, and then you tell me, jump in when you're feeling like Raven would then stand up and, start
Yeah.
doing something, if she would.
Maybe I see Gamork hasn't entered the room, and we're all kind of heading one direction. I
Sort of
I
right
don't
at
know
the
if
edge.
this would happen, but I don't know if Gamork would see what Raven's doing. I don't think any of us would, but
Well, no, Gamork is standing right now. I mean, he may or may not see it, but right now he is sort of standing at the door, his nose wrinkled and kind of turning his head from side to side, but has not gone in any further.
all right. Yeah, I think as far as Duraxis, he's doing a cursory kind of like perimeter walk.
Okay.
Just a quick glance into each room.
Yep, more of the same. And if so, now that Sataria has mentioned this, you can see that there are others of these what look like essentially bays, like medical beds or something like that. And there are some others that have skeletal remains. In fact, when all's said and done, and there are a lot of these, and all of them have had the wiring, as I mentioned, ripped out. It's there, but like whatever the metal stuff was is ripped out. And there are remains in about 5 of these bays, humanoid remains of what I described, skeletal remains.
I think that
It's an impressive medical
Sataria-
center, by the way, Juraxis and Raven. Like from ships that
yeah.
you've been on, this is as large as you've ever seen.
That's what I was gonna say. Is it Juraxis was about to go outside and see if there's like a plaque or a sign outside this room identifying what it is, because he wants to make sure it actually is a medical bay or if this is just crew quarters. I mean, it seems like it's a medical bay at this point.
Yeah, it does. You don't see any such sign, but there are about 22 of these small cubicles. They look pretty small if they were actually like rooms for people to stay and sleep in.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then I think Sataria, perhaps in honor of her archaeologist flair, is, and as Rhiannon's also described, Sataria is not really bothered by the grimness of death or any of that stuff. I think she'd be picking through the skeletons looking for more key cards.
Okay, let me have her make, please, investigation check, actually.
Okay. She will definitely keep guidance up on herself.
Okay.
Because investigation's not the best, but that's a 20.
Yeah, as she looks through these, and you're focusing their attention, I assume, on where the remains are specifically. Is that where you want? Okay. So in this one here, which is one of the ones that has them, she, in a storage closet, she uncovers what looks like, it's sort of strange. There's a kind of a white and red box. And when she opens it, she can see a variety of things like, bandages and some strange syringes and stuff like that. It's basically what the spacefaring characters would know to be a med kit. But even Sataria can tell that it's designed to have something to do with kind of medical properties.
Okay. She'll kind of store it away, maybe comment that she found it, but doesn't really seem to help our current situation.
Okay.
And then I think we eventually catch up to Raven. In the time that we've walked around the room, maybe she's done more, but...
Right, and that's what I was about to ask. Raven, do you stay on the wall the whole time, or is there a point where you get up?
She stays on the wall.
Okay.
I think she is slowly freaking out. Well, not freaking out, but she's definitely seeing the bays and it's giving a reaction to her.
Gotcha.
And she's basically got her eyes focused on the panel in front of her, but she is unable to get up and use the key card on it.
Okay.
Okay, so Nulls recognizes that Raven is distressed, and will very carefully ask if she's all right.
Yeah, and Raven does not respond. Raven is all her focus is on the key tab, because if she looks over to her left, she is basically going to break.
Do you need a moment? Should we stay here for a bit?
Maybe I need to get on the move. She needs to get completely out of it. So at this point, Raven closes her eyes. It's like, get me out of this room. Get me out now.
Is it all right if I take that key card from you?
You can take the key card, yes. Take the key card, but get me out of this room.
All right, I'm going to open up this door, hopefully, so we can get out of the room. Okay, so Nulls now has the key card,
Okay.
and it's going. What Nulls is going to do, because like Nulls doesn't know how a key card.
I was gonna say
going to unlock a
Null's
door.
expertise in key cards. Yeah.
So Nulls is going to take, but also Nulls doesn't know what's on the other side of that door. So what she
Yeah,
wants to do is open the door and then very quickly, like shield herself right here or something away along the wall in case there's something that doesn't need to be there.
Okay. So so assuming you put the card, there is a section that looks to be like about the size of what a card would be like. So I think you'd certainly be able to figure that out at least. And when you do, the door flashes and slides open, and inside you see this. At the rear of this room is what looks to be essentially a chamber, an open chamber of some kind. It has a large glass face of some kind, like glass window almost of the front of it that's curved. And inside it, you can see that there is a humanoid-shaped depression, as if a place where a humanoid is supposed to stand or be placed. And there are multiple tubes and things like that sort of running off of this thing and extending into the walls. There's a lot of, it's one of these chambers or whatever this is here, but there's a lot of wires and tubes and everything. It pretty much dominates the room, as you can see. So, yes.
So, really quick question. The Keratin that we encountered in the forest had like lots of tubes and things like that.
Doesn't look like this, though.
Okay.
No. Looks like, although you could maybe see a world in which this could have been distorted or modified or twisted maybe, but it doesn't look like this exactly. Although it may have similar functions, that's not certain.
I think
Okay.
Jaraxxus. Oh,
So
go ahead.
So I'm guessing that Raven is sitting directly across from the door, and she can see this, right?
That's true. Yep. Nothing inside it, just, the thing.
Okay, but Raven completely flips and starts shrieking and runs out of the room
Okay.
completely.
Gomork
Jaraxxus
growls and follows.
Are we being attacked? And we'll look at Nalik.
No. She is just haunted by something that crept back into her memory. So, we're going to give her a beat.
Jaraxxus
The Mork
will
is with
listen.
her, so
Yeah.
she should be okay for now. but we probably should figure out what this thing is and meet up with her as quickly as possible.
Listening and hearing her footfalls and Gamork's not just exit the room, but run down the entire length of the ship, Jaraxxus is like, oh, they're gone.
Well, is Raven leaving the entire ship?
Well, no, but like
no, she just ran around
running
the
pretty
corner.
far.
That's what I
She-
figured. Okay.
She
Yeah.
ran around the corner and she said, "Sits here," kind of like sits here.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
trying
Gotcha.
to basically catch her breath.
Gotcha.
And when Gomork comes up to her, all he hears her saying over and over as she's holding her head and like rocking herself, trying to soothe herself. She's like, I'm sorry. I should have tried to save you. Dallas.
And of course, Gamork has no idea what she's saying because he
Right.
cannot understand that speech.
That's right. Although Gamork does, Raven, I think you would sense, even with your eyes closed, the rather looming presence of Gamork, who comes up and all you hear is this. And you hear like what sounds like growls and yips and things like that, but it's clearly not aggressive. And if you were to sort of look over and just like open one eye for a second, you would see that he is sitting on his haunches. And of course, he is sightless, so he's just kind of like his head is tilted as if he's sort of sniffing the general area where you are. He doesn't move any closer, he just stays there.
So yeah. So she cracks her eyes open. She sees Gamork. And she kind of like gives this half laugh. It's like, if you knew what I've done, you would not be following after me.
Some odd growling.
And yeah, at this point, she's noticeably calmer, but she basically curls up and puts her head on. She's now sitting on the floor. She puts her knees up and basically puts her head on her knees and is basically just trying to breathe.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to that. In the meantime, back up at the at this other room, Nals, Jaraxxus, after this little exchange, and Sataria, I guess. What do you all want to do?
Is this also medical equipment?
Jaraxxus will enter the room and try to determine the purpose. Okay. Every time I've tried to use this spell, I've received the answer. It's not a device.
Okay.
I'm again going to try
Okay.
the spell Analyze Device.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope that this doohickey in front of us counts as a device.
Okay.
So Analyze Device says, and maybe I'll do this in conjunction with a check or something, but
Okay.
so I'll put my hand on the pod thing, and it says you discover all commands, workings, and you laugh, and electronic or mechanical functions of one automaton, construct, device, machine, or vehicle.
Okay.
You gain basic knowledge on how to activate and operate it. You still need to make appropriate checks to use advanced functions or access data from it.
Okay. So yeah, so when you put your hand on it, you realize it's actually a plant. No, I'm kidding.
Dang it.
Just joking.
Every time.
No, just joking. When you put your hand on it, first of all, quick note, when you put your hand on it, the front, and you actually have to like kind of step back quickly because the front opens, basically pivots
Oh.
open.
Mhm.
It is clearly a device, Dr. Jaraxxus, you'll be happy to know.
God.
It's clearly a device, and you're pretty confident it's some kind of medical or restoration device, a place that people might go when they have severe injuries that sort of normal treatments wouldn't function in. Your sense is that you have to you go inside the pod. And then once it's had a chance to do its work, you will come out cured of what ails you, basically.
Okay. Good. Draxus says,
Yes, it restores your body a bit. It's not really an equivalent on your world, I don't think. It's a
So it's basically a healing spell in physical form.
right, yeah. It's a healing bed, basically. I think it might still work.
Well, let's hope we don't need it while we're here.
But it's good that it's here.
It is, indeed.
I suppose as we exit back out, Draxus will look at the central room and go up to it and see what it is before we inevitably go out and check on Raven.
When you go up to it, the doors slide open.
Mhm.
Now, I want to note that did not happen before. It happened now when you got close. And inside, you can see what looks like a sort of, almost certainly this looks like it might have been a medical area for sure, regardless of what the others were. This looks like it might even have been an active surgery room, Jaraxxus. There are lots of 3 beds here, 3 main beds, and lots of sort of displays that are mostly dim and shattered. The wiring and all that stuff, the metal arms that I mentioned that were torn out before, are not largely torn out here. And on the far back wall, so right here, there is a display which is flashing something in some sort of strange script. Like that.
Of course, I got rid of
Redo. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Do
I got rid of the cybermancy thing that lets me read all writing.
How
So I
many
was like,
times
this-
now
I'm
have you
never
been like,
getting
why don't
used-
I have
I
that
know.
here? You know.
I know. It's like I was like, this is useless. I've never used this. I want more damage on my spike feed. That's what happened.
You're always
And then
fighting the
now-
last war. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure there's a way to. Oh well, can I go up to that back console? Maybe I don't understand the words that are currently flashing, but can I analyze device to know the purpose of the thing that the words are flashing on? Like, you know. Maybe,
Sure.
Maybe. Yeah.
So
what I
yes, so you want to, so you go over to it. When you go over to it, by the way, the flashing stops, and the words just stay on now solidly.
Okay. If I analyze device, can I determine if this is like a medical monitor or is this just a normal computer?
This does look like it is a medical device of some kind, but as you are looking at this thing, suddenly
Uh-oh.
red
no.
lights flash around the room, and the double door leading to your room slides shut.
Great.
And right next to the screen that you're looking at, to the display you're looking at, one of the other displays that's not smashed flashes on, and you can see, it appears to be cameras, and you can see sort of Nulls and Sataria standing in the room, and you can see thick purple gas coming into the room from a bunch of vents in the room. Nulls, Sataria, you hear suddenly the doors, and then you can see this gas. The door leading out of here has also been sealed shut.
So I'm sealed in the smaller room.
Yeah.
Those two are sealed in the bigger room, and then
There's purple gas
Yeah.
coming into the room they're sealed in, not yours. You have no idea whether it's
Okay.
Raven doesn't see any of this or hear any of this.
Okay, so I mean, we're seeing this, so I'm going to cast Sending
Okay.
to Raven.
Okay.
Okay, I've got to make sure it's what 25 words.
That's right.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Dear Raven,
don't, no,
stop.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Nope.
Just
Most-
go.
most
help,
needed,
Help,
stop.
Help.
Yeah,
help,
yeah,
help,
yeah, yeah.
Help.
Or just that's one word. That's two words.
Should we roll initiative, Greg? Like, is
No,
it-
I'm not doing that
Okay.
yet. I'm counting this in a different way. I depending on what happens next, I may need to have us do that, but
Okay. So do I go ahead and cast sending?
you can do that. Sure. What are the words that you're sending?
Okay, we are all trapped. Gas in room. Please help.
Okay.
Okay.
So you
Raven
hear that
says-
message in your mind, Raven.
And Raven, like, she gives a almost like, in like praise laugh. They triggered something. They're doing this now. What? And so she physically pulls herself together and gets up and makes her way over to the door. And I guess the door is shut.
It sure is. And Gamork, stands up as you do this, not having gotten said message, and then comes back here and goes up
Oh.
and sniffs at the closed door and kind of paws at it a few times, but it doesn't open.
Yeah. So Raven's like, something's happening inside. I can't go in. But we gotta get him out. How do we get him out?
Gamork kind of looks in your direction, growls something, you have no idea what, backs up, and then runs and throws his shoulder into the door. There's a slamming sound, and then he falls back. The door seems to have moved not at all. And Gamork kind of and growls and steps back. Okay.
Hold up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be wise to shoot at the door. But hold on. I have crud. But his slamming the door has given Raven an idea.
Okay.
Okay. I do have a spell. It's not a good spell though. I have
Is it called In Case of Emergency Open Door?
it's called concussive force.
Oh.
You create a burst of outward energy in a 10-foot square centered on a point within range.
Okay.
Basically, each creature in that area must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or be knocked prone. Any targets within 5 feet of a creature who failed their save. So basically, yeah, it's knocking prone, but it's a door that's standing in my way. Would it work on the door?
You don't know. You're certainly welcome to try and see whether or not it might have any effect on breaching the door. Although Gamork had some good concussive, power on his own. Yes, exactly, Bit. The door is knocked prone, if only. So you could definitely try it, Raven. It's generally designed, of course, to affect a creature, but you can definitely see if it's almost like a kind of a sonic boom that's still doing anything to the door.
Okay.
I'm going to come to you in a minute, Drexus.
Raven's going to look at Gamork and says, "This might affect you, so you probably should get away from me. At least, 10 feet."
Gamork just stares at you.
Stupid dog.
You're not sure he understood what you said.
So she's flinging her. He's like, "Go that way, go that way."
Make a persuasion check, Raven.
Oh.
Tempted to do this at disadvantage, but the universal sign for go away is probably pretty clear.
Oh.
Let's see. Just curious to see if it found. No, I'm not going to do. I was looking for purple gas, and I don't have anything specifically except a premium asset, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
get a premium asset just for a purple gas.
Maybe you could grab some fog or something.
I
to
could
color it.
if I had to. Yeah, it's not a huge deal yet. But I may have to depending on how long all of it takes. Okay. Meanwhile, though, let's see. So we're looking at a 10. Yeah, Gamork is just. I shouldn't have said looks at you because, of course, he can't see. He's just kind of does not move at your words or at your gesticulations.
Well, I don't have time for this. And so she basically points her fingers at the door and casts concussive force
Okay.
at the door.
Okay. So now the door is going to automatically fail its dex save. So go ahead and roll damage.
Oh,
Door is not particularly agile,
uh,
especially closed ones.
hold on. So now figure out what that is. So I need to roll a dexterity or roll damage. So that's.
Yeah.
That would
Concussive
be-
force. The enemy needs to make a dexterity saving throw, which he just said it fails. So, oh yeah, so it just says
Yeah, it just says knock.
it's
prone.
knocked prone.
Okay, but not any
That's the only
damage
effect.
particularly. Yeah,
No.
that's what I thought. So there's just a like you hear the sound, and I would say Nulls and Sataria inside. Jaraxxus wouldn't hear this, but inside the room you hear this bang on the outside of the door, but the door doesn't shift or move at all.
Okay, so Null's definitely heard that.
Yep.
So she's going to run closer to the door and cast Thunderclap on the door.
Okay, before she does that, we're gonna roll initiative before we
Oh,
do all that sort
well.
of thing.
Okay, well,
Cool.
So initiative, please. Bum, bum, bum.
3 for Jaraxxus.
All right.
And then,
What the hell happened?
Yeah, basically. And then this will be for Sataria. It is an 18.
Okay, so, oops, nope. All right, 3 for Jaraxxus. Let's see. Sataria was how much did you say?
18.
18. Okay.
mine was 8, but it didn't show up for some reason.
Okay.
I see it now.
I see it. Yeah, I also see it. Okay. Let's see. We'll do that. Oops. Wait. I just added nulls twice for no reason. Okay. So there's 8. Okay. And then what do we get for so is that a 10, straight 10, right, Raven?
Yeah.
So, okay. Right. And, okay. So that's going to lead us. So Sataria is going to get a chance to act first. So Sataria, Sataria can see this purple gas sort of pouring into the chamber from these vents.
I think her inner student analysis mode will go.
Okay.
And given that, I mean, she's not the technology proficient one in this group, she wants to know what this purple gas does, I think. So she's going to use her turn to try to figure that out. I'm not sure that there's a particular feature that she has that'll help with this. Let me look at her spells really quick. Detect evil and good. Is the purple gas evil? I'm just kidding.
Clearly undead. No.
Undead gas. So yeah, I think she'll make some sort of check then, if that's possible.
Okay.
The closest she has is Arcana or Nature or Medicine. She's good at.
I would say medicine.
Great, she'll take that. Okay, that's a 13. Is this? Yeah, she wants to know: is this going to melt my skin off? Is it going to suffocate us? What is
It
this?
does appear as if it's becoming somewhat difficult to breathe. If you had to guess, this is something which is designed to do something to whoever is in this room. Probably not a positive thing, whatever that would be.
Yeah. but it's not actively doing damage.
Well, you know about that. It hasn't built up to a concentration yet. It
Okay.
probably could. It could very well do damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is she able to tell? I'm not sure how much of her turn she has left, given she just did a check. But is it coming in one place more than others in the room?
No, there are several. There's at least probably 7 to 8 vents spaced around the room, from sort of the ceiling and the walls. So you would assume, pipes and things like that are leading to it, but there's a lot of areas. It would be hard to seal all of them, you think?
And the green key card door closed itself, I imagine.
The green key card door is still open at the moment.
Is purple gas flooding into that room?
No.
I think Sataria will call out Nalik's name and gesture over to here and maybe use her turn to move, and then that would be it.
Okay.
Try to move into the green room.
Next one up is Raven. Raven, what would you like to do?
Let's see. Yeah, can I examine the door? Does the door show any damage? Or
When you go over to the door doesn't show any obvious damage, but it does look like there is a seam where the two doors, basically these, shut, right? You're not sure how you would pry it open, but it does look like there is a seam where the two doors close. Also, it's possible that you just haven't been able to do enough damage to it yet. It looks like it was designed not to be opened easily, but that doesn't mean that it can't be.
yeah, and I don't have the strength to pry it open. So I'm going to give it another concussive force.
Okay. All right. When you do that, again, there's a loud bang. The door, again, obviously doesn't make it save. Nulls definitely hears that, and we'll talk about what Nulls does in a minute, hearing the second bang. The door does not seem to open, though, still. But it's not like it's being unaffected at all by these things. It's just not showing much damage from those spells. Or those talents, I should say. Are you going to move anywhere, Raven, or stay outside the door in this rough spot?
I guess she'll call out,
Mm-hmm.
"What's going on in there?" I'm trying to blast down the door.
Hang on one second. Son is calling me. 1 second. Sorry about that. On you go.
I'm basically just. I look at Gamork helplessly and then
Right. You were calling. That's right. Calling to the other side of the door.
I'm trying to knock it down the door.
Nulls, go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage, please. There is a hissing sound plus your, Wow. Yeah, you do faintly hear the sound of someone metallic. And it sounds something like trying to open. You don't catch all of it, but something.
Okay, so how many... because I can hear Raven, but this is what I want to do. I
Okay.
want to attack the door and then run to this room where Soteria is.
Okay.
Now, can I yell first? Because I can hear Raven? Can I...
Before you do that, You can yell if you want. Yes, I want you to make a perception check first, though.
Okay.
This is a separate one from what you just did with the hearing. A natural 20, a crit hit on the perception. Sitting next to the door, Nulls, is what looks like a panel. And it's the same kind of panel as the one that opened the thing that had the, the restoration pod or whatever it is in it. It's not glowing, but it is the same size, and it was not visible before all of this just started happening with the gas.
Okay. So, what Nulls is going to do, she's going to try the key card on the panel. She doesn't know what else to do.
Okay.
But after she's going to do the same thing she did when she opened the door to the restoration pod, like swipe it really quickly and then run, because she doesn't know what's going to happen.
So when you swipe the door,
And then she's going to run.
the door. Okay, so then run. Yep, that's fine. So she swipes the door, and the door opens up. And Raven, you see a room that is rapidly filling with purple gas of some kind. And you are sort of staring at that when something pushes you out of the way, and Gamork comes zipping in the room.
Okay. I cover my face with I cover my hands and mouth with my hands.
Nice.
Okay. Won't be able to let you move into the room yet, though, because this is technically happening on Jirax's. I mean, on Null's turn. But you can cover. I'll allow you to cover your face. This is because Gamork's initiative spot. But you will be able to do something next round depending on how things go down. But you can now at least see what's happened. Also, this door here is shut, and it was not. I guess it was shut before you ran out of the room, so it's still shut. But you don't see anything except purple gas and Gamork disappearing into it. Yeah, maybe it's good gas. Yeah. Okay. So Nulls runs up there. And you don't really have time to do a lot, Nulls, but you could say something quickly to Sataria if you want.
Yeah, I just shared that the key card opened up that door.
Okay. Jiraxis, we finally come to you as you're sort of staring dumbfounded. Although you can see on the monitors what I've just described. So
I can see a camera feed showing the torture of my friends.
yeah, I can see. That's right. A camera feed showing what's happening in the room outside your location.
Right. Okay. Jiraxis sort of stands there for a second, like, and then.
And those words are just standing, sitting there.
He's going to assume that he just did this somehow, so he's going to look for a way to deactivate it. He's going to look for a. Is there anything that indicates the purple gas being released? Like I don't know.
How about a computers check for me?
Oh, I love computers. They're great. I'm on one right now. Watch this. Watch this. A 10.
So it does look to you, I mean, as you kind of fiddle with things, you hit a button, and at one point you're like, "Ooh, this is exciting," because you see the words dim, and then you hit it again and it dims a little more, and then you hit it one more time and it gets bright again.
That's not what I want.
So it's basically you think you've hit the brightness control.
Now I can't see anything.
Yeah, basically. But it does seem to be something, the panel below, at the very least, does seem to control it somehow, but you don't know how.
Okay. Jiraxis will. I guess given that he does not understand how this works, he then has to decide whether or not he's going to just slide his hand over every button on the console or not.
I'll allow that if you wish. There's going to be a random dice roll thrown in there.
I do see, though, that like the door to the hallway has just opened, and that Sataria and Nalik had ran into the green.
Correct,
room.
and that Gamork ran into the room.
Okay.
You can't really see who's standing outside it, though. The camera doesn't extend to the outside of this larger med
Right.
bay area, but yeah.
Okay. Well, on future turns, would I get another computer's check, maybe at a lower DC?
Potentially, yes.
Okay. Okay, I think Jaraxxus will then... I don't know if that computer's check used up my turn, but if it hasn't, then Jaraxxus would then go to the door really quick and see, I guess, finishing out his turn, see if he can get his own door open, but...
So the answer to that is no. The middle doors, this door seems to be locked. But you're able to go over and do that as a part of this turn, but it does seem to be locked.
Yeah. Okay, I think Jaraxxus will bide his time and not hit every single button, just in case. The last thing he wants is hit every single button, and it's like, oh yes, the gas you released is flammable, and now you've just hit the fire
exactly.
button.
Self-destruct
Bullshit.
confirmed.
Yeah.
5.
So he's gonna chill and try again next turn, I think.
Okay. All right, that is going to bring us to the top of the round with Sataria. Sataria, what inside the room are you, because the door is still open to this room, what are you doing? You can see Gamork is running in. You don't actually, there's too much fog now to be able to see what's happening down here, but you do see Gamork sort of running towards your door.
Okay. And we had seen that Gamork had fully ran out, so maybe Sataria jumps to the conclusion that that outside door is now open. And so Sataria would look at Nalik and say, should we stay in here or should we go out to the hallway now?
Well, it is getting rather purple in there. Can we even make it to the door?
Does it look makeable if we sprint through the room?
Yes, but you are going to be going through some purple fog to do it.
Sataria says it's either that or be trapped in here when we're completely surrounded. So I think Sataria gets to the edge of the door and looks ready to give it a shot, because rather be in the hallway and the larger ship than stuck in this room.
Okay, so you're going to make the dash?
I think so. Please don't kill Sataria.
I need a Constitution saving throw, please, as you run.
Okay. I don't know why she has this. What is this from? Wow. This is such a rare effect. I just need to find out what this is from first.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Is it unaffected by purple fog? Is that
So, well, basically,
okay.
For some reason on Sataria's sheet, she has a necklace of adaptation. And one of the things it gives advantage against specifically is harmful gases and vapors.
Ah, okay. Then
amazing.
take
Is that
that
one
as-
of the rewards?
Wow.
I think that's right.
Yeah,
that was
that's
one of the
right.
rewards.
We were like, man, that's never
But
going to
she
get
also
used.
has that ring. I thought she had the ring where she can jump really high.
Let me see. She also has that.
So
But
how
the-
did she get the necklace of adaptation then?
The ring, I think, though, was not a reward, right?
Ah,
the
that's
ring-
right.
I
She
think
found
that's
it
what was,
somewhere. Yeah.
Yep.
You could also have her
Amazing.
jump. You're like, we didn't know
I
which
have
to
her do
use, so we
both.
had you jump. It just hits her head
She
against the door.
jumps, and
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Okay.
Okay.
So you make this
So I'll
con
make
check at
that.
advantage then.
that's right.
See, everyone always thinks this is why
dear.
this is why role players are paranoid, because they're like, if we ever ditch something, that's the thing we need. Like in the next room, it's always the thing.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, that's a 6 with my advantage. I'm gonna roll the next roll
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
A 13. Hopefully that's enough.
A 13 is just enough. Yes. As she runs across the room, she is going to take. Oh, wait.
A nap.
She's going to take a nap. No. All right. She is going to take 3 points of necrotic damage.
Oh.
All
right.
As she zips across, but she is not knocked out or anything.
Okay.
And she gets to outside safely.
Okay. I think as she's running, she'll call back to Nalik and Gamork, saying this way and shouting for them to also run. Like that, as she's running, she didn't vaporize instantly. So she's
Okay.
like, okay, come on, let's get out.
Okay.
And that's her turn.
That would lead us to, in that case, Raven. So you just saw Sataria bolt past you. So, like, the last 6 seconds of Raven basically involves Gamork running past one way and then Sataria running the other way. So Gamork has turned into Sataria. No,
Raven Raven grabs Sataria and pulls her to the side, and it's like, she checks her. Okay, she checks her out. It's like, are you okay? And
I think Sataria is coughing and kind of holding on to Raven for a moment and nodding her head.
okay. Yeah, she then Raven then helps her, like, leads her a little away from the room.
Okay.
And it's like, she asks, "What happened? Can you tell? Where is everyone?"
Sataria says, Jaraxxus did something. He ran into the room like an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. Sataria would never say that.
Sataria is not saying much besides coughing at the moment, probably.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Fred. Is Null still trapped in there? Does she need to come out too?
Sataria nods her head.
So Raven curses.
And I think Sataria would shake her head like for Raven not to go, and to just trust that they'll run out. But that's up to you.
Yeah, Raven doesn't really have anything to conquer poisonous gas.
Doesn't have a convenient necklace.
What she does do is she pulls out a med kit and starts treating Sataria.
Very
And
nice.
she mutters on her breath. I can't believe you're forcing me to take care of you like this.
I am going to look up. Is this an official med kit, by the way?
Yes, it is.
Alrighty. Interesting. My. Raven just full of
Mhm.
surprises. Okay.
An official Esper Genesis medkit. Circa
Found
2000.
in Esper Genesis, exactly.
Yes.
Okay. So this medkit is not actually going to heal. It is designed to help stabilize a dying creature. But I think the thing that I want to note is the fact that Sataria would absolutely, as a healer herself, know a little bit about the implications of it, even if she doesn't recognize the particulars. I'm just mentioning that it's giving knowledge to Sataria, which is fine. I'm sure you know that. About the fact that you possess this thing. So I won't have, this doesn't use up anything to use it, Raven. It's not going to heal in the traditional way. All right. That is about as much as you're able to do, I think, on your turn, given the time frame. Which leads us to Nulls. You saw Sataria run out of the room successfully. You heard Sataria call back over her shoulder. And you think you see a familiar gray form kind of looming in the purple fog.
So, Nulls is a bit more cautious than Taria is.
Okay.
She's pretty sure Jaraxxus is still trapped in that room.
Okay.
She knows Gamork is now in this other room filled with fog. So I was asking about this earlier, like the Tales from Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what tale I'm going to get or how relevant it's going to be, but it might be super useful.
Okay.
And if it's not, then she's just going to stay in this room for a bit.
Okay.
Until the next turn, and can figure out what else to do.
Okay.
But okay, so I've got it open, and then I just do the 12-sided die, right? Is that correct?
I think to be able to see what tail it actually is, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
Zach, you're looking at D&D
Um,
Beyond, I think. I
the
think that's
whole-
right, though.
Yeah, the whole table goes up to 12, but I think your level
5.
only
Oh.
gives you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
well, there you go. Yeah.
So
works
it's
out.
so it's only up to 5 then?
Well, did you roll a 5 or what?
I haven't rolled at all.
Where's the number 5 coming from?
I'm asking which die I should roll.
Oh, well, let's see. Spirit Tales table. It's probably a D6 right now, but I'm just gonna let's double check. Features and traits. Tales from Beyond. All right, here we go. Oh, it's equal to your Bardic Inspiration die. So I think that's a D8 right now.
Yes, a D8.
So a D8.
Where's the D8? Where's the Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I'm relying on Zach for this because this is a very cool college, but it is not one that I am familiar with
Yeah, it's
before
kind of-
Toya started
it's-
using it. So
One
So
of
what
the
did it roll? Because I haven't seen it.
complicated ones?
it is not rolled in roll 20
That's
that
odd.
I see.
All right. It's okay. Roll to everyone. There we go. 5.
I see it.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see what this is. Tale of the Avenger. For 1 minute, any creature that hits the target with a melee attack takes force damage equal to a roll of your Bardic Inspiration die.
Hmm.
Okay. So as
Yeah.
long as you attack the fog, it'll-
Right. It says you retain the tale in mind until you bestow its effect or you
Right.
finish a short or long rest. So
I still
that
have it.
particular tale, is not particularly useful in this case because it basically you would apply that to an enemy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I still have it.
You still have
And
it for the future.
can I take a bonus action?
I believe
Yep.
doing that was a bonus.
Oh,
action.
wait, that's the bonus action to roll for it? Okay, then.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can't do anything else.
You can use an action.
Yeah, because you haven't actually
Right. That's
used
what
a
I
full
meant.
action.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to speak with animals,
Okay.
and I'm going to tell Gamork to get in this room with me.
Okay. All right. You will command, and you are staying in there movement-wise, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, on Gamork's turn, Gamork is going to have to make a saving throw himself. And is going to do so. And let's see. Okay. And you can hear Gamork kind of like coughing, growling, sort of choking. Does manage to stagger into the room, but looks pretty poorly. I mean, not like on the edge of death, but looks like took a fair bit of damage then, and is just sort of like coughing out, fog and all that stuff. There's a little bit that's rolling into the room because the door to this room is still open. So not as much as out there, but he is now in the room with you, Nulls. And he says something to the effect of, "The foul smells, air foul." Something about foul air or air foul. But
Can I
otherwise
explain
gets
to
in
him what's happening? I don't just.
You could, yeah. I mean, like within a few seconds, if you can just be
Yeah.
like, "Bad air."
And also that Draxus is trapped.
Okay. Okay, Gamork sort of nods, starting to gain control of himself, and looks back out at the empty door. What he's going to do, though, we'll have to find out in a moment because it is Dr. Jaraxis' turn. As you can see, the fog continues to roll in. Again, no fog has entered this central room where you're standing.
Okay.
So you're fine.
I'm okay. I'm fine. Jaraxis will attempt to. He'll look at the computer more carefully this time.
Okay.
If I'm allowed, I'd like to cast guidance to help with this computer's check as I attempt yet again to find a way to disable this gas thing.
You have guidance through Jaraxis, because
I
Jaraxis
do.
can do that, right? Yeah, okay. Yep,
Right,
you
yeah,
can do
yeah.
that, sure.
Cool.
Guide
All right,
yourself.
I will. make another computer's check as he more carefully scopes over the buttons, specifically looking for something just to shut off the gas thing. Yeah, and let's see.
That's funny bit.
Computers. I have a +6. That's pretty good. Why do I have a +6 in that? Oh yeah, 4 and 2.
That's your thing.
Wait, 4 and 3. It should be. Because our
'Cause your
proficiency
proficiency?
bonus
Yeah.
is +3. Yeah, so this is even a slightly older shade. This
Even
actually
better.
+7. That's pretty good. So,
Oh, ho, ho.
nat 20.
Oh.
There you go.
You are the
29.
one. Like,
I am the one.
Okay, so you, as you look at this screen, it suddenly occurs to you as you're sort of looking at it, Draxus, that, and the buttons beneath it, that based on all, and I think everyone can agree, universal science, the way it works is you have the button that you press that dims the brightness, then you have the button that dims the contrast, and right next to it is the menu button, and next to that is the power button, right? We all know this is the way monitors work.
Of course.
So by knowing that, you go over and you realize that you probably could press what is the power button on this, if you wish to press that. But it seems likely that that would have an effect on what's going on out there.
Whoops. I do not see a buttons to specifically turn off the gas, or just
It may
the
be
power
that
of-
that is what you think you're looking at, something that is power referent, and it reminds you of other things you've seen of this nature. It might be power specifically to the vents. Something about this with the buttons has something to do with. It almost looks like a reset cycle, is what you're dealing with right now.
Got it. I will press the button.
So when you do, there is this, and suddenly, the gas, which was starts to and starts to be pulled back through the vents, and very rapidly, within probably about 30 seconds, I would say, the air inside is clear. And I'm pulling us out of initiative for the moment. Jaraxis, you see, having done that there is now the display in front of you. Also, first of all, the doors behind you open. And there is another, what looks to you like the kind of glowing words, different glowing words this time, not the same. But there is something which looks like a symbol. If you had to guess, you think that you're looking at what looks like a question mark or the equivalent of it, as if you're being asked a question now. And you know the buttons to answer sort of like yes, no, that exist on this.
Okay. Did I recognize between the first message and this message? Can I recollect any other symbols?
The symbols are not identical at all, except, and not even the end one. None of these
Okay.
words correspond with words that you previously saw.
Great. Okay. I'll hit yes to the question.
When you hit yes, the room sort of, you hear this kind of, and the lights go up slightly, and you hear coming from one of the sort of the, I guess, counter, for want of a better term, near you, there is a sliding sound, and a door opens up in the surface of the counter, and coming up from it, you see two things. One of them is what looks like a red and white box of some kind with a handle, and next to it is a red key card. Also, everyone now is out of initiative. The doors, incidentally, to the main room also open, Raven and Sataria.
Oh,
I'm going to nod at Gamork and say, "Let's get out of here, shall we?"
Already part of this cursed ship. Oh no, he would say
Jaraxxus-
place, cursed place. Yes.
Yeah. The red and white thing is a med kit, I imagine.
No, actually, it definitely seems similar to it, but you would have to open it up. It looks not quite like a med kit.
I will open it.
When you open it, you can see inside there is a kit with two things in it. So it is a kind of med kit, but it's not the med kit, if you know what I mean. One of them is let me find, these things are here. Okay. So one of them, if I can find where the bloody thing is. Right, okay. One of them is what looks like biogel. This is essentially a kind of the effect in this, like in D&D terms, would be a healing potion. That's one thing. The second thing is a vial, which you're pretty confident because there's basically a syringe. There's a vial. There's a syringe next to it, and then there is the universal sign for poison, like basically skull with bones, skull with crossbone type of thing on it. You think that this probably is an antitoxin of some kind that is in here. So biogel, healing potion-ish, and then this vial plus syringe, which seems like an antitoxin of some kind.
Great. Jaraxxus will put the med kit into his bag.
Okay.
And then emerge from the central room holding the red key card. And he says,
Is everyone okay?
And
Because
sorry.
Gamor
I
kind of
found this.
looks and kind of shifts his head. You can see that Gamork looks a little poorly. Go ahead, Nell.
Null says, "Well then, that was easy enough to acquire. Soteria, you make it out all right."
Satarius, given that it was necrotic damage, maybe like some of her skin has withered a little bit on the arms or like the places where she ran through the gas, but
Yep.
otherwise she seems okay.
Gamork is a little injured as well.
Yeah. Jaraxxus says,
this card will let us into a bunch of places, but if we are a bit injured, maybe we should take a rest or before continuing to open new rooms that might give us new strange gases.
I agree with that, but I've wondered something. You pointed out that device and where clearly somebody is supposed to lie in it. Does it still work?
I think so.
Well, should we try it?
I'm not sure any of us is quite this injured. They tend to have time where they need to recharge. I almost want to save it until one of us is a little more injured.
Is it long enough for a long rest? I mean, we don't have to take turns, but is that what you're saying? It's a long rest type of device?
I not exactly sure, but either it.
And from the corridor, Raven says, it probably is, but we should hold off on using it until one of us is truly injured.
I agree.
Well, agreed then. And I agree also with a short rest.
All right.
That's fine, but let's not do it here.
That's
You
all
know
right.
what? We have the red key now and that red lock on the outside. Should we exit, take our rest, and then see if it opens up something on the outside of the ship?
I don't remember it being on the outside particularly. Do you mean the door to the left of the entrance?
Yes.
But within, I see.
Sorry,
And
it
you're
looks like it's on the outside.
kind of. You saying you want to rest outside the ship, like out in the nature?
Well, something is less likely to kill us out there than in here at the moment, wouldn't you say?
I would say yes. I could use some fresh air, and probably all of you, especially so. Sorry, by the way. So I guess we're gonna go outside, just outside the entrance of the ship, and
Okay.
recuperate.
All right. So if you all head that direction, let's see. So there is basically there is this enclosed chamber. Okay, right, with the cranks. So when you get to the outside, this lift, which is really more of an entrance, honestly, allows you to get outside, and there are the two cranked doors that you had to open from the outside. They are remaining that same way. So you're able to exit and just be outside the ship. Now, I should mention that outside, of course, as you're standing on the ground of this place, let me just get back to my notes about that. Let's see. You are, nope, not there. Up here. Down here. Further down here. With that, and up there, and up here. Okay. Right. So outside, you were on this sort of scorched, rocky terrain, you might remember, that's like just right outside the ship. And this is also where there is that, the sort of like 10-foot stone monument that has those, had some things like written on it, you might remember. That's right outside the ship. Which is where I assume you're talking about being.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you're going to do that, that would be fine. So, during a short rest, now, are you setting a like a watch type of thing, or what is your plan for that?
Well, we don't need to sleep necessarily, right? Can we just kind of
That's right. That's exactly right. You can just do it as long as you're not doing anything particularly strenuous. But basically, are you, if you are just sort of sitting there and kind of being not super watchful, but just kind of trying to tend to your wounds, then yes.
Yeah.
Then you would be spending hit dice here if you wish to. And so again, as a reminder, because I think we haven't done this for a little while with a short rest. Reminder that if you want to use those, and that right now the people that are injured would be Jaraxis. I think Nulls is at full still, right? I don't think you've taken any damage.
I'm at full.
Okay. Raven, I think, is down 5 points, I think, right? LaShawn, Raven's 23 out of 28, I think.
Yes, I think. Yeah, 5 points.
Okay. And then Satari is about 3 down. So that means that we are looking at, make a note to myself. That means that we're looking at, you would roll your same hit die that you roll to determine your number of hit points. You can spend one of your hit dice, and you start with 5 hit dice since you're all level 5. I don't think you've used any of them so far. So you can roll each of those and add your con bonus to it if you want to get your hit points, increase your hit points back up closer to your maximum. So, it may make sense for Raven to do it, I would think. Jaraxis possibly to do it. Doesn't make sense for Nulls. Satari, I think, depends on what Satari wants to do, possibly. And so, yeah.
and Gamork probably.
Gamork probably, although I don't know that the hit dice would work in the same way, but yes.
Okay. Yeah, Jaraxis is going to. So
Okay, let's see what you get.
Roll a d8 plus 1.
And I think
3.
I'm the same.
I'll do it one more time. So I'm back at full. I forget. Oh yeah, you're 2 different classes slightly for Raven, but I think your hit dice are d8s, LaShawn.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, you just roll a d8 plus your Constitution modifier.
Which is, oh, I have a 2. Oh, okay. I thought I did. Oh, modifier. Modifier. Okay. Nope. It's 0. So,
That's fine. Just the D8 then.
yeah, just.
Okay. 6, which should be enough to get you back up to full as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I'll have Sataria do it too, because why not?
Okay.
Although as a sorcerer, I think hers is a d6.
Yeah.
Plus.
Does she have
Plus
a con
0.
bonus? Okay, yeah. I was gonna
Nope.
say.
So she's back up
All right.
as well.
Okay.
And while, oh, sorry.
I was going to say I get my spell slots and some other things back because Cybermancer is like a warlock, so a lot of my stuff recharges on a short.
On short rest.
I
Yep.
got my bardic inspirations back. I had used one, so
Yeah,
Okay. Does that also mean the tail, by the way, resets?
it would.
It would, right? For the short rest.
So yeah, and that means, I mean, technically, you could Nalik roll to see a new tail right now, spending
Mhm.
another bardic inspiration, or just let the one you had go away.
oh gee. I don't know if I want to let the one that I had go away because it's really useful. Let me
Oh.
read it again.
Yeah,
Let me look at it
So,
again. It's
so
5.
you could opt not to short
Yeah.
rest then.
So for 1 minute, any creature that hits the target with a melee attack takes force damage equal to a roll of
Oh.
your bardic inspiration die.
I misread then. It's actually protecting a creature then. Because
Still wouldn't have done anything in that situation, though.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah. So the question is, does it say you have to reset it on a short rest, or that you may reset it on a short rest?
It says you retain the tail until you bestow its effect, or you finish a short or long rest.
Okay. So if you take the short rest, it's going to
Okay.
Yeah.
not retain. So yeah.
I'll keep it.
So you're right. You can
Okay.
you could just not short rest,
That
which
seems
you don't
very
really
useful.
need anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Nice.
Okay.
I did
Cool.
want to I wanted to talk to Gamork and see if he sensed anything about anything we experienced, either like the automatons, the rooms that we were in, or the ship itself.
Okay. So
Because
he's
I can still talk to him.
yeah, that's right. He says for the first 10 minutes of it, I guess, of that short rest, and he says, "Ship, air, place is cursed. Smells foul. No real air." Kind of grumbles to himself.
Is it like magic air? Fabricated air?
Changed.
Changed. Like those metal things that attacked us changed?
And he kind of growls a little bit. Not part of the world.
It's
He
not
says.
part of the world.
Yeah.
Amongst the bones, did you sense anything?
Death.
Well, yes, indeed. Could you tell who killed them?
Maybe. He kind of shakes his snout back and forth. And then sort of like tilts his head in his way where it, even though he's sightless, always kind of, odd because he looks at you as if he can. And then says, maybe each other.
And did you detect anything else stirring in the ship that we may not have yet seen?
Foul things. But not sure where. Every moment within that place is danger.
Let's see. I'm not sure I have any other questions at the moment for him. Oh, okay. So I asked Jaraxis and Raven if because I don't understand like the technology of the ship. Is there anything I should be asking Gamork that he might be able to detect that we can't?
Draxus shrugs and says, well, no offense to Gamork, but I don't think he has magic technology sensing abilities, particularly.
Well, he did say that the air has been changed and it's not from this world.
I could have told you that.
That it had been
Sorry.
changed.
Well, there was just a room full of purple gas. I think the color made it pretty obvious.
Yes, but I don't think that's what he meant.
Oh. What do you think he meant?
Well, we're out in normal air, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure even within a ship, there are things about the air that are normal that keep you alive in some way. Well, could someone or something change the air? You might even be able to survive in it, but it transforms you in some way as well. Maybe some ways that you can't even detect.
Are you saying that they were poisoned deliberately from an outside source?
So not even from within the ship then.
And P does not
Oh.
respond to that. Like he doesn't.
Maybe
You're not sure if he doesn't understand the question or if he just doesn't know.
maybe he was sensing the virus that
So-
affected them.
The virus came from outside of the ship? Is that what led it to crash?
Probably.
So, is there anything else that Gamork can't detect that you don't want me to ask him about?
No, I think perhaps I'm wrong. I think if he can sense that strange air, if we can find out where the epicenter of the virus was, maybe, but
Unfortunately, he doesn't seem to get a sense of direction for what he says is foulness everywhere, and there are still things stirring about.
well, all right.
I do have a question, though.
Hmm.
We have a green key card and a red key card. Are these categorized somehow? Like green means this and red means that? Plants, grow their life. The medical area was green for life. What would red be? Fire, maybe.
Usually, red is stop or off limits, or it
Security.
might. What was that?
Security.
Exactly. I think it might be administrative.
Could we control the ship and the things on it with security?
We could get very close, at least.
So that first door that we saw is at the front of the ship, the entrance. Would that be the main area?
I think the roundabout, the circle in the center, we saw that one of those doors was even labeled security or something. I'm not sure what the nearest door does, but
Might security have weapons that can help us destroy these things?
certainly.
I've always wanted to get my hand on a little off-world power.
Well, for helping me learn a bit of your worldly magic, I think that can be arranged. Raven, obviously exploring this place is not... It's, I'm not sure what happened in the room there, but if you want to talk about it,
Hmm. Raven smirks again, but then she looks at Knowles like, "Are you sure you want off-world power? Are you certain you really want it?"
Well, everything in the ship, as far as we know, is off-world power, and I've learned to fight like with like.
And so Raven studies Knowles for a long time. And then she shakes her head and says, "Just be careful that power doesn't consume you utterly."
Well, yes, my name is Knowles Darkly, after all. I do toe the line.
You know, Raven, myself and another from outside this world, Titus, before he disappeared and you arrived here, we didn't come here the same way you did. We very literally crashed a ship. It was sort of by choice, sort of. And we made a choice to get here, and then an accident happened. But as far as I recollect your story, you find yourself here at chance, random. You don't know what happened. Perhaps, maybe you've been brought here for a reason. I know you've been looking for that reason, maybe. If I were to guess, maybe it's to face some demons of yours.
Raven laughs. He's got perhaps.
Didn't you say you saw me before you arrived?
Maybe that was Taria.
I don't remember
know.
seeing you. What I do know is this: I am tired of running and tired of seeing demons that should not exist.
Well, demons that shouldn't exist kind of attached themselves to us because they found some vulnerability within us. And they feed until we learn how to starve them.
Lorendi do not have vulnerabilities. Trust me.
Well, we might agree to disagree on that one. And one day maybe we can talk about it. But it's clear you're not ready for that today, and we will not force you.
And look, basically, at this point, Raven basically turns her head. Obviously not wanting to talk anymore.
Mm-hmm. Draxus says, "Well, when we finish our rest, maybe I'll go back to leading the way." I thought it was...
I must say, Raven, you are quite the leader.
You are.
If I was a leader, then there would be a child still left alive. And the person who was torturing her would also be still alive. And I would be helping him in it.
I don't think Jirax's comments.
Knowles just says, we'll starve those demons one day.
think we finish our rest. And then a beautiful shiny golden thing says rest completed.
All right. Where do you just not quite wrapping, but soon? What direction do you head off in then? Now that you have this red.
Well, I've got to respond to Bit for a second because Bit asks, "What if I overfeed a demon?" It says that's when your head spins around and pee spews out.
Yes. Yes.
Too much food.
So we might as well check this entrance door since we're here before heading to the central area,
Okay.
is my thought. So after we rest, Draxus will lead that way unless there are objections.
No, that's why I wanted to come all the way back to the entrance so that we would be closer to this.
Okay. Are you opening that up then?
I will use the red key card.
Okay. When you do so, this opens, and you find yourself looking at what appears to be. Get rid of that. Sorry, it should be like that. You find yourself in what appears to be an area that is overgrown with flora. Most of the walls in this section have been torn down, and the remaining area seems to be overgrown with twisted vines and branches amid layers of thick foliage, as if something is growing within these rooms.
Speaking of strange smells, I look at Gamork. Maybe you want the whiff of this.
And Gamork has already sort of come up and is sniffing it, and his nose wrinkles.
Do you? Oh, I can't talk to him anymore. I don't
Right.
think.
Just wrinkles and sort of sniffs, and then kind of turns up his nose and looks back at all of you, and silently steps back from the door, not running away or anything, but just,
Well,
you
I
smelled
would.
better.
I would gather that these plants are from our world.
Does it look traversable through here, or is it a complete tangled mess?
It seems like it might be traversable. If you were to go in to this, you'd have to push through, but you do think you could probably get through it. Yes.
Can I check what type of from the door? Can I check what type of plants these are?
Not from the door. You'd have to. I mean, you can, other than just sort of what you suggested just now, which is that they might be native to this planet. Could very well be. But a lot of vines and fungal growths and things like that. But specific ones you'd have to go into the room to see.
If I stood at the door and cast Thunderclap on it, is it a possibility that I could clear out some of this?
It would not clear out the fungal growths, no. Vines and things like this.
Yeah, make it
source,
easier to walk around.
Yeah. No, not likely. Maybe if you had some kind of herbicide or the equivalent of it, there are, plant withering and stuff like that. But as far as thunderclaps, no. I happen to have in the back of my own place a old hydrangea vine that spirals around a tree, and which has not harmed the tree, and that's why we left it up. And that thing has withstood hurricanes, and it would take a lot to take that thing down unless you took down the tree or burned it.
Sataria doesn't happen to have anything that might kill it.
Let me search for... so not only does Sataria have things resistant to gases and vapors, she also has Herbicide Plus, the new herbicide.
You've discovered Raid.
Yes. Not particularly. No spells. She has Sacred Flame, but that's radiant damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, not
Is it-
any more than us.
Is the room leapable?
Oh,
Or did she use her ring to leap?
Probably
or
not.
are
The
there
ceilings
vines?
are not
We've seen
super high.
monkey,
There are vines, yes, that's true.
just monkey jump, monkey climb.
So you said
Um,
it is traversable, but it would be very difficult.
Yes, I would say so. But it is traversable. You don't know when you get further in whether there will be, more stuff, but yeah.
Jiraxis says, maybe we leave this room and maybe we end up finding a different way to approach it. If not, we can come back.
I was just thinking the same thing, actually.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
So why don't we go to the door that said security
Oh,
on
that's
it?
right.
Well, Jiraxis says, I mean, we also haven't gone this way. To the right.
That's
But
very true.
security is also, I mean, getting a broader picture of it. Maybe let's go to security first.
And I would say, as you all gather together and prepare to head up to the north towards security, we might see Gamork sort of taking one last look into the vines room before wrinkling his nose and moving down the corridor. And perhaps as he does that, we see just one little trailing bit of vine slowly move away a bit from the door. Which is a good place for us to end our session. As we have explored more of this doomed ship. I feel like every world ship is sort of like right on the edge of a horror movie. Like you'd think world ships are just sci-fi, but they're always like bad things happen in world ships, man. I don't know.
So we definitely saw that happen.
Gamork did.
Gamork saw it. We did not.
Yes.
All right.
It was a post-credit scene.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly right. So I'm excited to see what you all do as you head up to security through this thing. But good stuff today, though. A lot of very cool exploratory moments, and obviously some pretty scary stuff with the gas there, and some very good backstory moments also with Raven as more revelations continue to surface. And I thought some interesting moments of trying to companions figuring out what's going on with Raven at the same time that Raven may be trying to figure things out about herself in terms of what she wants to share and not share. So there's some good stuff there, and I have a good balance today. Not much, no combat today. Just initiative counts of get out of the deadly purple gas room before bad things happen. I will start with Zach. Good stuff today from Dr. Jiraxis. I did love the image. You all solved it, you got out of there, but there was a part of me that was kind of like, I hoped you started playing the panel like a piano, like just, angry young man, Billy Joel, something like you just see what happens. Because it would have been fun to sort of go and see what happens with random button presses. But instead, you managed to open things up along with the others. And then you ended up finding another key card that allowed you to give more information. And you got use out of the device, the analyze device thing. You finally got use out of that thing. Unfortunately, you didn't have the language translator, or maybe none of this ever would have happened. But then we wouldn't have had a great story to tell. How'd you feel about today's session, Zach? Where will the fun folks see you next?
Felt great about the session. Very cool exploring the ship, but also seeing how our characters' backstories and stuff get revealed, and our character dynamics and relationships still develop as a result of it. So very cool, and learning more about the ship and how capable it was and still is in some regard. So yeah, very cool session. People will find me on this channel again for this show, of course. Also for our vocalists on this channel, where we voice the best voice team on Twitch.
That's right.
According to Arvin O'Ran, he's also correct. I believe we are too. Voicing video games and such. Right now it's Citizen Sleeper. Arvin O'Ran and I, Greg and I, have a show called Gen GMs, a podcast where we talk about GMing tips. Feel free to please go and subscribe and like to that. Almost at 100 subscribers there.
Yep, long form video coming. We recorded one a few days ago. Live Swing will be posting that soon.
That's right. Greg and I also, we do so many things together. We're also in a band called The Road. Haven't talked about that in a while.
That's
go
true.
Check us. Yeah, we're in a progressive rock band. We made an entire album in the year of 2023.
Yes, we did.
Please go check that out. It's called Exodus. You can hear Greg and I singing in a song together.
That's
there.
true.
And also the masterful guitar workings of our friend Mike. Greg and I also play Gloomhaven together every now and then. That'll be happening again soon. And then on my own channel for some Divinity on Thursdays usually. And otherwise, a lot of my work, a lot of my stuff is in person now, which is great. You know, living life. And I think that's all for me for now. Also, I guess it was Roll20, but I started this session at 100% on my laptop. I didn't bring my charger because I was like, there's no way I'm going to run out of battery. It's literally the only thing I'm using my laptop for today is a 3-hour D&D session. I'm at 4%.
Oh, geez.
All I have open is Roll20 Zoom. I don't know what's going on. And when I click on the battery, it says no apps using significant energy. Thanks, computer. So
The ship
hopefully I'll-
absorbed
The
it.
ship absorbed. I was
Yeah.
just thinking, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if I abruptly leave, it is because my computer just died. But that's it for me. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Zach. Good stuff as always. Also, again, LaShawn, as I said, great stuff from you today with Raven. Loved more of the backstory stuff that we were getting, the effects that it's having, the effect the ship is having, and a little bit of a moment there too between Raven and Gamork, even though they can't understand each other. The fact that there was something sort of being passed back and forth between them, and Jaraxxus and Null's trying to figure out what's going on, you know, with Raven, and Raven the same. So some very good backstory moments there, and some good idea about trying to get the damn door open. It was a good theory, and, you know, might have worked in other situations if it were not for other stuff that was happening. So, yeah, so I'm curious to see how Raven continues to develop. How did you feel? And then again, the sort of the joking about the leader thing and like the laughing about being a leader and all that, and saying that and everyone being like, oh, wow, okay. So again, cool moments sort of laid out there. How'd you feel about today's session, LaShawn? Where will the folks find you next?
Oh my gosh, that was fun. Although it didn't feel fun also, because like, yeah, our poor dear Raven is dealing with trauma and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way more than she figured on this turnaround. But yeah, I'm also loving in that her hard shell is starting to crack and be curious to see what would ultimately break it. And also enjoyed the moment with Gamork as well and the others, and yeah, just showing
The med kit too was good. The med kit was solid.
Oh,
also.
yeah. So that was fun. So yeah, I am looking forward to the next game already, and yeah, see what else we can, what else she will reveal. So yeah, otherwise people can find me. They can find me on Facebook. They can find me on Blue Sky. Yeah, I'm around.
Good stuff today, LaShawn. Thank you. Looking forward to next session as well. And last but certainly not least, because Rhiannon did not join us today, that was planned. We knew that Rhiannon wasn't going to be here, but will be with us next session playing Sataria. Also, good job, Zach, on playing Sataria today. Toya, great stuff from Nulls. Nalik obviously always has good interactions with Gamork, but in this case, there was also trying to figure out a little bit about A, dealing with the problem of getting out of the room, B, figuring out the sort of implications of the colors and the key cards and everything, and C, I like that moment between Nulls and Raven about Raven saying, are you sure you want that kind of power? And Nulls being like, there's a reason that my name is what it is. And like, you know, sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. Do you really? You know, like all of that. Something which feels very prescient, especially given current news today. There was a lot of that going on, but I thought that you had interesting moments of that as we went through. Exactly, Trippet. The Nulls command says it all in chat. So good stuff out of that. How did you feel about today's session, Toya? Where will the lovely folks see you next?
Yeah, so this is probably the wildest session I've ever been a part of, which isn't saying a whole lot because this is the only game I have ever played. But the number of quote-unquote coincidences that led to everybody basically getting out alive just kind of blows my mind. First of all, if Raven doesn't give me the key card before running out, we're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Because Raven would have been completely isolated, not knowing anything that was going on, not able to get into the room. Jaraxxus, Nulls, and Sataria aren't going to be able to get out at all. There's Sataria actually having that necklace that allows her to get out of the room. You know,
Yeah, that was
to be able
yeah.
to be able to explain to Raven exactly what is happening. Nulls uses sending for the first time, which turns out to be extremely
Yeah, that was good.
useful.
Yep.
Nulls has a ridiculous role that allows her to see the panel on the wall to open the room.
Yep.
There's just so much nonsense in the best possible way.
Yep.
So what you're saying is Raven's trauma saved everyone.
Yes, I did not want to say that because I was thinking at the time, okay? I was thinking at the time, you know, I don't ever want to say that it's good that somebody gets triggered. But like in a fictional
In a story
format,
way?
it was
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
that
it's the
somebody
straw that
got
stirs the
triggered.
drink, right? Like
I didn't want to say it. I'm glad you said it. But yes, I was thinking that. So where can you find me? You can find me at schnoodlemedia.com, where if you contact me, you can get any and all of the editing services that your heart desires. Yes, I will continue to keep hawking my wares.
you should. And you should support, first of all, you should buy LaShawn's work. You should and buy Toya's work and hire Toya to do editing and all sorts of things, because Toya is really awesome at all of that in both game design, can edit prose. Highly recommend both of those people. And of course, Zach, you should hire for all of your live DM and GM needs. Oh, and
As he pops
there's
off.
his computer died. That's perfectly perfect,
You
exactly
couldn't
as he said
handle.
that.
You could not handle your praise. It's just so strong.
It was just like too
Winked him
much
out of
energy.
existence.
That was awesome.
Too much energy. Yeah, well, we knew that was going to happen. And timing worked out pretty well since we were coming to the end of it anyway. Great stuff tonight. I am very excited to see what Expedition comes into. This is also only the first level of the ship. Now, we're going to see what other levels look like. But as the crew is sort of figuring this out, one of the coolest things I wanted to say about the predecessor to this, which was which was Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, which is the classic mid-1980s module for D&D. What made it so weird is the fact that all of the people were not science fiction people trying to figure out these science fictional concepts, like what does a control panel mean, right? Like they would just see it as a bunch of like circles and like little sticks and levers that move and things like that. And so the level of exploration and uncertainty about it is what made it interesting. And we're starting to get a bit of that at this part of the module. It took us, couple of years, right, to get to the point, whatever it is, a year and a half now, to actually get to the point where they're in the ship. And the ship is not the end of this campaign, to be clear. But trying to figure this all out is very interesting to me to watch. So I'm excited to see more of that. I very much am looking forward to seeing Rhiannon back with us next month. And so I want to thank the now sadly absent Zach Clay, who is recharging his computer. But also special thanks as well to Toy Kristen Finley and LaShawn M. Wanick. And chat, can we get some love for them? I will see both of you and Zach and Rhiannon back here with our next session soon. Thank you both. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye
Thanks,
for now.
everybody.
All right. And that, folks, is going to do it for us for this evening. I did consider the possibility of, I thought about maybe that I was going to do a little bit of Oblivion after this because of when it wrapped up, but I think I probably won't because I've got some stuff going on tomorrow, and I'm going to have a bunch of stuff happening next week, which may or may not involve a little bit of a bonus thing. What do I have in my hat? I think I just have paper. Yes. So that may or may not be happening as well. So I think I'm going to wrap up the way that originally was planned. But I do want to mention to everybody a couple of things. Remember that we will be, as I exit out of here, remember that I will be back on Tuesday And I am going to be doing the Patreon fueled chat chosen game of the month, which is, I will take a look into that, Triffid. I will look at that. Yes, I am planning on doing a raid. But I'm going to be back on Tuesday with the chat chosen game of the month. And that is going to be, as I double check something here. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Sorry. That's one of those intro videos. I don't see Master of Rem on right now, Triffid, unless it's not happening on Twitch and it's happening elsewhere. Is that possible that it's happening elsewhere? Because I don't see her as live right now. No, it's okay. That's fine. So we're probably going to do we will probably do a raid to someone who is with us. We will do that in just a moment. But before we do, I do want to note to everybody that I will be back doing that Patreon-fueled chat chosen game of the month, which is Blueprints. I'm very excited for that. That's going to be a good time. Excited for a little bit of puzzle work. And then I will be, that'll be happening Tuesday at about noon Eastern. And then at 4 p.m. Eastern, I will be over. No, I got some, I have someone that I'm going to be, I have someone I'm going to be rating. I think I have someone I got set to do. So I have somebody. But then I will also be playing over on GOG.com, continuing the exceptional game that Prince Justin originally recommended, and that really has struck me out of nowhere. It's gonna be interesting because a lot of people have Blueprints on like the top of their list of like games of the year type of stuff, and for me, I haven't had a chance to play it yet, so now I'm looking forward to trying it out. But the sort of out of nowhere game for me that has been probably my game of the year now, as we're moving into about the halfway point of the year, is probably Expeditions Rome. Like, Expeditions Rome has been so surprising to me in terms of how good it is in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how Blueprints kind of measures up to that. And there's still many months to go. When the Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster comes out, that, like I said, that may be my favorite game of all time, Final Fantasy Tactics. So it's going to be hard not to put that up there on a major sort of part of the list, depending on how well they do the remaster. And there'll be other stuff going along there. So we shall see. But that, however, is for later on. What you do know is that Tuesday's that. Then Wednesday, we've got Community D&D with the Shadow Crew playing more Waterdeep Dragon Heist. And then Thursday, I'm going to be there with some more Oblivion Remastered as we finish up the Fighters Guild quests and prepare to get started on the Pilgrimage quest line before finally doing some side quests and then main quest and then Shivering Isles DLC quest before we wrap up. So all of which is going to take a couple of months probably, but I'm having a great time with Oblivion in the meantime. So, but that is going to do it for me for now. If you like what you saw and heard, I hope you'll follow the channel. I hope you will check out our YouTube with !ArvTube. Thank you for following me over there. That's really important. Discord is !ArvCord. Twitter, !ArvTweets. Blue Sky, !ArvSky. Especially trying to push people to that because I am only, I think, 85 followers away from hitting that 1,100 number, or hitting that 1,000 number, at which point I will shut down my Twitter, and I'll just be using Blue Sky for the microblogging thing going forward, so please do that. And again, website for this, arvineleron.com. Don't forget about !GMs. That is my DM and GM tip show that Zach mentioned that I do with him. And please make sure to check us out and subscribe there, because we're almost up to 100 subscribers on that channel, which will be a nice milestone for that channel when we get there, so please do that. On the on the financial front, !Arv Shop. That's the merchandise area. We can get stuff that looks cool and also supports the channel. Patreon is right there, !ArvTreon. That is also super important and really is the financial backbone of the channel. So please do support us there. You can get cool stuff for yourself and cool stuff for the channel. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. And then subscribing, which a couple of you did today, including Hillness with that 8 years of support. Those subscriptions also really help. You get those custom sub badges and emotes to use here. here, there, and everywhere across Twitch. So please do that because that would help too. On the publishing front, Exclamation Point Icarus, my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Exclamation Point Library is my Tales and Tomes, The Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment, which is the sponsor of this adventure campaign, Expedition with the Mysterious Peaks. And Exclamation Point Greyshade. Greyshade Renegade Heretic is my Grey Assassin trilogy from Athos Arts. Very proud of that. I'm also very happy about the tabletop role-playing game Greyshade, which is going to be released by Alligator Alley Entertainment at Gen Con. So that is only about 5-6 weeks away now that you're going to see those. You can pre-order that now at that Greyshade link. You can also get the audiobook of Greyshade from our very own Trent Sparks there, and you can pre-order the Renegade and Heretic audiobooks by supporting the Faraway Kickstarter, Faraway Dreaming by Ula Thynell, which is doing very, very well for them. And if you go over there and back that, you can not only get a cool book, but you can also, as add-ons, get the audiobooks of my Grey Assassin trilogy, which are going to be officially released in the fall, at least Renegade and Heretic are, also being narrated by Trent Sparks. You can do those as add-ons and get them at cheaper than retail. So now is the time to do that. And otherwise, I think the only other thing I need to mention is Exclamation Point BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Exclamation Point Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And Exclamation Point Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage. And we send the message, we'll do so for others in the future as well. So quick note about the raid. The raid is really easy. You do it this way. If you are not a sub, you just put in the Arvanauts have landed, followed by Twitch raid, lowercase Twitch, uppercase R, lowercase AID. If you are a sub, you can do this, Arvany hype, then again, the Arvanauts have landed and Twitch raid, and then all the Arvany emotes you want to throw in there. Arvany roar, Arvany smug, Arvany love, Arvany blown. How about some of the new ones like Arvany sports, or if you want to do Arvany rise, or Arvany rise is a good one, or if you want to do, Arvany objection, or any of the new emotes that you might have access to, that is a perfect time to break those things out when you head into the channel that we are going to be raiding. Otherwise, I want to thank everyone who made this an awesome stream today. Thank you to my wonderful mods, Prince Justin, Triffity Mats, Baron Valor, Bit, Jagtris, Mr. Jonas, Mrs. Dunsel, Mitral, and Nonstop. Thank you to my mods. Those are not all mods. Sorry. Thank you to my mods, Prince Justin and Triffity Mats. And thank you to my Patreon supporters and subscribers, Prince Justin and Triffity Mats. And thank you to my viewers, Baron Valor, Bit, Jagtris, Mr. Jonas, Mrs. Dunsel, who is a sub but is hanging out there, same with Nonstop, and Mitral. Good to see you, Mitral, as well. That is going to do it for me. I will see you folks on Tuesday. Until then, everyone, please be good to each other. Stay safe. If you're on the East Coast of the United States, stay cool in this weather. Over the next few days, it's going to be a dangerously hot heat wave. And everyone, just hang in there the best you can. We will try to pull through all of this as a community. But thank you so much for being here. A special thanks today to my wonderful folks from Expedition for the Mysterious Peaks. Thank you to Rhiannon Hell. We'll see you, of course, next month. But thank you to those who are here tonight, to Toya Kristen Finley, to LaShawn M. Wanick, and to Zach Clay. Much love to all of you. As I always say, please be good to each other. And I'll catch y'all soon. Good night for now.